my own business in the convenience store when suddenly a hooded guy jumped at the cashier and pulled out a gun.
Give me some cash. All of it. Now.
Everyone started to panic, except me. I'd actually been waiting for this moment. Hey, idiot! Everyone gasped as the robber turned to me. I then walked up to him while slowly removing my jacket. It's so hot in here, don't you think?
Back off, sweetheart. I have a gun.
Not anymore. He tried to dive for it, but I immediately locked him in a tight grip and pinned him to the ground. It's jail time, baby. And that's how you catch a criminal. Hi, my name is Artemis, and I've always wanted to become a detective, just like my dad. Before I continue, MSA will give $1,000 to one lucky person who subscribes in the next 7 days. Tell your friends, your sister, brother, and mom to subscribe now. As the robber was being arrested, someone approached me with a proud smile on his face. My favorite police detective, Lewis. I'd met him during a Future Detective summer program for high school students last year, and we'd kept in touch.
You're really something else, kid.
Kid? He was just 5 years older than me, but he kept treating me as his little sister. And it was so annoying because I actually liked him. I learned from the best.
If you're free tonight, do you want to have dinner with me?
Would he finally confess his feelings for me? The anticipation was killing me. He took me to a romantic restaurant and my heart was racing.
I'll get to the point, Artemis. I know that you've been waiting for this moment too.
You bet I have.
We're having a big and difficult case right now, and we need your help.
Oh, I suddenly felt stupid. Tell me about it.
It's a gold smuggling case, and the suspect's name is Mr. Anderson. We need some hard evidence against him.
And how can I help exactly?
He has a son, and his name is Chase. He's a senior high school student, reckless, clumsy, and spoiled. He's looking for a female bodyguard, and she should be very attractive.
So, you want me to pose as his bodyguard while spying on Mr. Anderson, right?
Exactly. I need you to find where he's keeping all those gold bars.
Mission accepted, officer. Dad had trained me in martial arts since I was 2, and now I could finally put it to good use. Lewis prepared my fake documents for the application, and luckily, I was chosen. I was so excited about this mission, but little did I know that I was about to get involved in the biggest mess ever. I tried so hard to keep my cool when I finally met Mr. Anderson. His face literally screamed danger. I was secretly scanning my eyes around his office as we discussed the job. There were surveillance cameras everywhere. It was gonna be harder than I thought.
I love my son more than anything, so do your best to protect him.
I'll make sure you won't regret hiring me, sir. He gave me a very thick portfolio of Chase, and the first thing I noticed was his face. It was very attractive. Mr. Anderson told me that Chase was waiting for me in this room, and the moment I opened it, I was caught off guard when someone suddenly jumped on me. It was him, and he looked like a scared little puppy. Is everything okay?
Take that disgusting little creature away from me.
I looked around and noticed a cockroach crawling toward us. I immediately stepped on it and crushed it to death. Don't worry, it's gone. He finally opened his eyes, and I almost dropped my jaw when we both stared at each other. He was the most handsome man that I had ever seen, and I wasn't exaggerating. Just then, he jumped away from me and cleared his throat.
I just find it really dirty, that's all. Anyway, you must be the new bodyguard.
Artemis, at your service.
Dad surely knows my type.
Do you want to make out? Do you want to die?
Playing hard to get. I like that.
I was hired to be your bodyguard, not your girlfriend, sir.
You'll still end up being one, so why waste time?
He was about to touch me, but I gave him a powerful blow that sent him flying to the wall.
Are you crazy? You're being paid to protect me, not kill me.
Sorry, it's just a reflex.
Fix your stupid reflex or I'll tell Dad to fire you.
Loud and clear, sir. I'll officially start my duty tomorrow. Have a nice night. Later that night, while everyone was sleeping, I tiptoed around the mansion and installed some spy cameras to watch Mr. Anderson's every move. I had to catch him soon and get this job over and done with. The next day at Chase's school, boys immediately flocked around me like I was a celebrity, and Chase didn't look too happy about it. Just then, he started throwing some dollar bills at them.
$1,000 for each of you to back off and stop looking at my bodyguard, losers.
And with that, they all closed their eyes and ran away like rats in the dark. Excuse me, sir, but why did you do that? I can take care of myself.
I want you to focus on me. Those idiots will just distract you.
There's no need to do that. I'm not usually distracted by stupid things. But he just ignored me and continued walking. Suddenly, he slipped on a piece of tissue paper, and before he could hit his head on the ground, I caught him in my arms. Our faces were so close, and for a moment, I felt lost in his beautiful blue eyes. Just then, a pretty girl came running and screaming,
Hubby Boo! What is the meaning of this? Are you cheating on me?
Based on his file, it must be Vanessa, his girlfriend. On reflex, I dropped Chase to the ground.
This girl is my bodyguard. She was just protecting me.
Oh, what a relief. I'm your one and only, always and forever. Right, hubby boo? She then jumped on him and started kissing him like a vacuum cleaner. Vanessa was clinging onto Chase all day and kept sticking her tongue out at me. What was her problem? Later that day, Chase suddenly dragged me into the janitor's closet.
I actually don't like Vanessa. I just dated her because she's just so obsessed with me. I felt bad for her.
And why are you telling me this, sir?
Don't be jealous.
Huh? I'm sorry, but I really don't get you.
Forget it. I already broke up with her many times, and she's like an annoying leech. From now on, I want you to keep her away from me. Make sure she doesn't come near me.
Copy that, sir. Later that day, I snuck into the bathroom to check the surveillance video on my phone and saw Mr. Anderson enter the mansion. And then he went straight into his room. I needed to have access there too. On my way out, I bumped into someone, Vanessa. Listen, girlie, you may look tough and all, but I'm not scared of you. I need you to stay away from my future husband, my hubby boo. Sorry, I can't do that. I'm being paid to be by his side 24/7. And besides, you have nothing to worry about. I'm not attracted to him. She burst out laughing. Chase is the most beautiful guy in the entire universe. There's no way you're not attracted to him unless you're a lesbian. OMG, are you? Do you like me instead?
Maybe.
I can't blame you. I'm perfect, but I'm sorry. You're not my type. That's too bad because I think I'm obsessed with you. I leaned in closer and pouted my lips for a kiss. Ew! Get away from me! My little stunt was effective because anytime Vanessa came close to Chase, I made pouty lips at her and she ran off. But I wasn't exactly celebrating. It had only been a week, but I wanted to give up already. Chase was a total pain in the butt and such a big baby. He would complain over the smallest things. One time, he was making a huge fuss about a mosquito bite.
How could you not stop it from sucking my precious blood? I thought you had great reflexes. See? It's swollen.
You're not gonna die from it, sir. Relax. One time, he decided to skip school just to go shopping for a new yacht. As we were walking towards the port, we bumped into some guys who looked like gangsters, and he actually knew them.
It's a perfect day to break some skulls, don't you think, Chase? What do you want, Brody? Your girl. She looks like my next girlfriend.
He was about to touch me, but suddenly, Chase jumped in and shoved him to the ground.
Don't you dare touch her, dummy.
Brody went berserk.
You stupid dirtbag.
He was about to punch Chase, but I was able to block his fist just in time. I'd run home to mommy if I were you. I twisted his arm and he went screaming in pain.
Get her, boys.
I threw a couple of my karate moves and they all fell to the ground in no time. I turned to Chase and he looked stunned. He was still speechless, even in the car. When we got home, he just sat in front of me and stared at my face. Is there any problem, sir?
You're the prettiest and coolest girl that I've ever met. Do you know that?
He lifted his hand to touch my face and I just shivered at the contact. You know what happens when you touch me, Chase. So get your hands off me before it's too late. Suddenly, his happy face turned sad as he pulled away from me.
I'm sorry. I won't bother you anymore.
Well, that was weird. I needed to find that secret room with the gold bars as soon as possible before things got any weirder. But whenever I had the chance, I looked all around the mansion and found nothing. One day, Mr. Anderson had a business trip and he'd be away for a week. It was finally my chance to work on his room. After making sure everyone was asleep, I went to his room and while I was checking his drawers, I felt someone watching me from the door. Chase!
What are you doing here?
I was looking for you.
In the drawers? I don't think I could fit in there.
Oh God, I needed to distract him. And then I did the unthinkable. I walked up to him, grabbed his face, and kissed him on the lips. And worse, I kinda enjoyed it.
Whoa, what was that about?
I've been craving your lips.
I knew it. No one could resist me, not even you.
I guess you're right. Anyway, we have to sleep now. It's late.
How could I when you just kissed me?
I tried getting rid of him, but he was persistent. First, he insisted we watch videos together on his favorite channel, MSA, for 2 hours. And then, he even made me sing him a lullaby to help him sleep. When he was finally asleep, I just found myself staring at his face. He actually looked like a beautiful angel. Snap out of it, idiot! The next day at school, Chase did something that gave me the shock of my life. He announced to everyone that we were dating, and Vanessa went wild. This girl is a lesbian, and I'm the one she actually likes. She's only getting back at you because she's jealous. Chase ignored her and got on his knees instead. To my surprise, he started tying up my shoelaces.
Silly girl, what if you trip and hurt yourself?
I then pulled him to the side and confronted him. What in the world are you doing?
You like me, and I like you. So we're dating, right?
Are you crazy? If your dad finds out about this, we're dead.
Don't worry. He's too busy to even check up on me. From now on, I'll protect you and serve you instead, okay?
I kept on refusing, but he was unstoppable. He was just around me all the time, and it was driving me crazy. All he did was stare at me 90% of the time. Could you please stop that? It's freaking me out.
I could stare at you forever. You're just too pretty. I sometimes doubt if you're even real.
During classes, he kept reaching for my hand just to hold it. During lunch, he would feed me and just watch me eat. He was acting like the perfect boyfriend, and I had no choice but to play along to protect my cover. Ugh, what had I gotten myself into? Later that night, I called Lewis and reported everything, including my fake relationship with Chase.
I need you to stop entertaining any distractions and finish your mission ASAP. Understood?
He sounded mad, and it made me feel bad. I'm sorry, I'll do better. The only place I hadn't checked yet was Mr. Anderson's bathroom, and I had to do that first thing in the morning. But I woke up to see Chase smiling at me with breakfast in bed.
Good morning, my love. Eat up. I cooked it for you.
The eggs looked delicious, so I decided to have a little taste. And they actually were. I didn't know you could cook.
I wanted to be a chef and open my own restaurant someday, but Dad wanted me to be the next CEO of his company instead.
Nothing feels better than living your dream. So stop being a loser and go for it. It's your life, not your dad's anyway. I suddenly felt bad knowing that his dad was a criminal.
That's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard in my life. I can't help but fall for you harder each day.
He sounded so real. I almost fell for it. You're pretty good with words, aren't you?
I'm serious about you.
To my surprise, he gave me a quick peck on the lips, and it made me blush like hell. One weekend, he insisted that I train him in boxing. When we got inside the ring, he was so hyped up. Are you sure about this?
Heck yeah.
But the moment I threw a single punch, he went flying like paper. I worriedly rushed up to him, but he immediately got up.
I wasn't ready, but this time, I'll show you no mercy.
I decided to make him win and let him knock me out this time.
You cheated. You let me win.
No, I didn't. He was pouting as he sulked in the corner, and suddenly I felt bad. Fine, I cheated. I'm sorry.
I'll accept your apology if you'll have a date with me.
I agreed, and he took me to the park. I waited for him on the bench as he bought me ice cream. There were a couple of kids playing around, and to my surprise, he called them over and bought ice cream for all of them, and even gave the vendor a huge tip. He wasn't really that bad after all, and I just found myself smiling. Oh no, I couldn't fall for him. I had to get rid of these stupid thoughts and focus on my goal. The next day, I told Chase that I wasn't feeling well, so I couldn't go to school with him. As soon as the coast was clear, I slipped into his dad's room and went straight to the bathroom. I checked every corner and space, until I saw a button underneath the sink. I pressed it, and to my surprise, the bathtub slid away, revealing a trap door beneath it. I tried all the combinations in the passcode lock until it finally opened. I went down the stairs and I couldn't believe my eyes. The room was full of gold bars. I immediately called Louis for backup, and while I was taking some pictures, someone suddenly smacked my phone out of my hand. It was Mr. Anderson, back from his trip, and he was raging mad.
You little witch.
Just in time, Louis and the police barged in and finally arrested him. As he was being escorted out, Louis came up to me and hugged me.
Good work, future detective. I'm so proud of you. You can even get rid of that little punk and hang out with me again. I miss you.
Suddenly, someone spoke from behind us.
So, it was all about this, huh?
I turned around and my smile instantly disappeared upon seeing Chase standing by the door. The hurt look in his eyes broke my heart. Chase, let me explain.
No need. Congratulations on your successful mission.
I watched him walk away with tears in my eyes. I wanted to run after him, but I guess this was for the best. I didn't see him again, and he also never contacted me. I should be happy I was done with him, right? Wrong. It kept on bothering me. A lot. One day, Louis took me out for dinner, and I was expecting him to give me another case. But he completely surprised me by saying,
I like you a lot, Artemis. Will you be my girlfriend?
I had been waiting for this moment. I should be happy. But why was I thinking about Chase? I'm so sorry, Louis, but I think we're better off as friends.
You like someone else, don't you?
I just bowed my head down and smiled. It didn't matter now because I'd ruined his life. 2 years had passed and I was finally studying criminology at university. One day during lunch, I decided to try the new restaurant around the corner, and I was shocked to see who the chef was. Chase! It's so nice to see you here. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I took your advice and here I am.
He looked even more handsome than before. I didn't know what to say.
It's really good to see you, Artemis.
You too. I wanted to hug him and tell him that I missed him, but I couldn't. He then excused himself and walked up to a familiar girl who had just entered the restaurant. It was Vanessa, and they were hugging sweetly. I felt so jealous. I just got up to leave. As I walked out of the restaurant, I felt someone running after me.
Are you jealous?
Huh? What are you talking about?
Vanessa realized that she actually likes girls, and we ended up being good friends.
Oh, wow. I didn't expect that. Just then, he stepped closer and held my hands.
I've been in love with someone else for a long time now. I bet you know her.
You're supposed to be mad at me for putting your dad in jail.
I'm not. He's a criminal, so he deserves it. I'm upset because you pretended to love me.
When did I say that I was just pretending?
You weren't?
He looked so cute as he blushed, and with that, I grabbed him by his collar and kissed him. Sorry, it's just a reflex.
Let's make it a habit then.
Hi, my name is Aura and I'm from Texas. Please like and subscribe. I live with my granny and she's pretty much the only person I'm close with on this planet. After my mom and dad passed away, she took me in and raised me. But growing up, I didn't have many friends. I was always focused on my studies, and that's how I was able to bag a scholarship to one of the finest schools in the city. But things took a wild turn in the 10th grade. It all started when I decided to ride my bicycle to school one day. But just as I was about to park it, I tripped over something, and my bicycle went crashing into a car nearby. Shoot! The car looked really expensive, and now it had a dent the size of an elephant. I was the queen of broke people. I'd never be able to pay for the damage. I had to get out of here, but just then, 2 evil-looking shadows showed up behind me, and one of them caught me. Look at that. She ruined your car, and now she's running from the crime scene. Holy Jesus, not the terrible 2! Jacob and Adam were the 2 richest and hottest kids in school, but everyone was scared of them because they were really big bullies. And now, I rammed their car. This was the worst day ever. I wasn't running, and I didn't ruin it on purpose. I just accidentally...
Oh, kitty. Accidentally or not, you're gonna have to pay for this.
Listen, man, I can't pay for it. You want my bicycle? You can have that.
You're making jokes now? You better arrange the money or else.
Oh, God, what was I gonna do about these bullies? And just then I remembered I'd seen them bullying a kid really badly after school recently. So I just blurted out, I know your secret, and I'm gonna tell it to the principal.
What secret?
I know what you guys did last Monday. For a second, they looked stunned, but then Jacob screamed,
What? How? How do you know that?
Judging from their freaked out faces, I could tell it was something else, and something really big that they'd done, and they thought I knew? This was perfect. Well, I'm not gonna tell you here. I'll tell you in front of the principal. Let's go now.
No. Wait, we can talk this out. Yeah, and you don't need to pay for anything. Here, let me check if your bike's broken. I'll buy you a new one, as many as you want. We'll do anything you say. We'll be your errand boys, but please, just don't tell anyone.
What in the father freaking world? The two most powerful senior guys in school were totally at my mercy, and I didn't even know why. But I pretended to keep it cool because I didn't want them to know I was bluffing. Sure, then how about you start with carrying my bag? It's so heavy, my hand hurts. As I went around school that day with these two acting like my personal bodyguards, kids were looking at me like I was a magician who had the terrible two wrapped around my finger. The next day, as I stepped out of my house, Jacob was already waiting for me in his brand new car. This was just getting better.
Hey, I'm here to pick you up. So tell me, do you want to go to the beach today or the movies?
What? No, I want to go to school and attend my classes. I have to submit my assignments next week.
Aw, come on, Aura. You should enjoy yourself and not study so hard. Adam can do your assignments. He does mine all the time. No big deal.
That sounded good, but I wasn't sure if I trusted them enough to hang out with them outside school. What if they planned to kidnap me because of whatever their stupid secret was? So I insisted on going to school. When we reached there, they kept following me around. At first, it felt like I was some princess, but as the day went by, I realized this was a big problem. I had ballet practice after lunch, and just as I entered the girls' changing room, all the girls started screaming. When I turned around, I was stunned to see those two morons had followed me in. Have you both lost it? This is the girls' changing room.
All the more reason for us to be here, right, Adam?
I pushed them out and locked the door from inside. But when I went to the dancing room, they were already there, dressed in ballerina's clothes and dancing like toads. What the frickin' crabs? What are you guys doing? You don't have to follow me everywhere.
Yes, we do. We can't risk it. What if you go and tell the principal behind our backs?
I won't do that.
Well, guess what? We don't trust you.
They just wouldn't leave. And when it was my time to perform, they both started cheering and hooting like they were my craziest fans. What could be the big secret that was making them do all these things to keep me from going to the principal? But as much as I wanted to know, I wanted to get rid of them too. The next day, I left home before they could get here. And even at school, I was on my toes watching out for them. Then during lunchtime, this football jock at school, who I had a huge crush on, came and sat next to me.
You're the popular girl who tamed those rich brats, and I'm impressed. I like strong and dominating girls like you. How about we go out?
Adam picked him up by the collar and threw him out of the seat.
How about I give you a taste of strong and dominating guys?
Adam, stop! What are you doing? As soon as Adam let him go, he just ran away. Ugh, why did you do that? He was gonna ask me out.
He asks everyone out. He's a jerk.
Oh, have you looked in the mirror lately? You're the bigger jerk here. With that, I pushed him aside and stormed out of there angrily. Later that day, I was in the library when I saw that football jock kissing some girl behind a bookshelf. Adam was right. He really was a jerk. I picked up a book and tossed it right at his head. Ouch! Well, he deserved it. After that, I went back to solving my math assignment, but I was getting none of the answers correct.
Easy there, Tigress. Let me help you with those.
Help me? Do you even know the— Whoa! How did you do that? I was stunned that this guy who looked like he probably bought his grades with his dad's money was actually good at studying. He helped me with my assignments, and honestly, I was starting to feel that he wasn't so bad after all. Just as I was about to apologize for calling him a jerk earlier, Jacob barged into the library.
Thanks for keeping an eye on her while I was away.
Of course, Adam was just here to babysit me. I felt so dumb thinking he might be nice 2 seconds ago.
So, who's ready to go and watch the new Spider-Man movie?
OMG, I'd been waiting for this movie for months. I screamed so loud with excitement that the librarian kicked us all out. Later that evening, when we stepped out of the movies, it was pretty chilly. Suddenly, Adam took off his jacket and wrapped it around me. Such a good actor he was. I knew if it wasn't for their secret, he wouldn't care even if I was screaming for help. Soon after, he ran ahead to get the car, and that's when Jacob took my hand and suddenly pulled me close. Whoa, what are you doing?
Aw, come on. I can clearly see you're interested in me. That's why you're playing the blackmail game, to keep me close.
What? In your dreams?
That attitude of yours, it's just got me going crazy for you, babe. How about you give me a kiss now?
This jerk! I was about to push him really hard when suddenly Adam pulled him away and punched him hard in the face. Jacob landed on his butt.
How dare you touch her? What the heck, dude? Did you forget who you are? You're a stinky, low-life rat who lives off my leftovers. And how dare you touch me?
Low-life rat? What was he talking about?
I know who I am, but don't you dare touch her again. Because if you do, I'll shove those leftovers down your throat.
Whoa! It seemed like Adam was a whole different person. He took my hand and then we both left from there. All the way back home, he didn't say a word, and I could feel there was something about him that I didn't know. I was getting more and more curious. When we reached home, I handed him his jacket back, and I just couldn't stop myself. Adam, why did Jacob say all those things about you? I mean, you're rich too.
No, I'm not, Aura. I know it looks like that because I'm always hanging out with Jacob, but I'm a poor nobody.
I don't really understand.
My dad used to work for Jacob's dad, but he passed away a few years back, and I have a sick mom to take care of. Jacob convinced his dad to take us in, and he helps me with money. But basically, since then, I have to do everything he asks me to do.
Oh boy, my heart sank listening to that, and suddenly, I just hugged him tight. Thanks for doing what you did for me today, Adam, and I'm sorry.
Don't be. He totally deserves it, but I really wish you'd never seen us do it. And then you wouldn't be involved with jerks like us.
Seen what? Suddenly, he looked at me with surprise. The secret! He was talking about the big secret. Oh, yeah, totally saw that.
Wait a second. You don't know what it is, do you? Now that I think about it, you never really mentioned it because you don't know what it is.
I panicked, and then you guys assumed I knew your secret.
Aura, how can you even do something like this, knowing how bad Jacob is? If he knows you don't know, he'll... Oh, God, I can't believe this.
He stormed off angrily, and now my heart was pumping like crazy for what was going to happen next. The next day, when I reached school, I saw Adam was still hanging out with Jacob, but his face was full of bruises, like someone had hit him really bad. Of course, it was Jacob. Later, when Adam was all alone in the boys' washroom, I went in. Why are you letting him treat you this way? I know it's Jacob who beat you up.
What are you doing here? And I told you I owe him. Just stay out of it. I don't want you getting hurt.
But you're willing to get hurt all alone? This is wrong, Adam. You can't let him ruin your life like this. What he's doing to you and the other kids around school, this has to stop.
Yes, but there's nothing I can do.
You can. You've always been with him. You know everything he does. You can go and tell the principal all about it.
But I was there with him in everything he did. I helped him. If I rat him out, I'll be out of school and I'll be on the streets with my mom.
Just then, Jacob came out of nowhere and pinned me against the wall.
So, you're planning to ruin me, huh? You have no idea who you're messing with, little birdie.
And you have no idea who you're messing with, you ugly crow. I smashed my head hard into his face and he fell to the floor crying in pain. Adam grabbed my hand and we ran out of there.
I'm going to the principal. You're right. I can't be a coward and let him hurt everyone like this, especially you, Aura. I'll deal with the outcomes later.
I'll be right there with you. We went into the principal's office and Adam confessed everything, from Jacob's bullying incidents to the biggest secret of all. After the principal had told Jacob he was going to fail in most of his subjects, Jacob trashed the principal's brand new car one evening. He smashed the windows and the lights and spray painted all over it with Adam's help. The principal immediately called Jacob in and said he was going to be expelled. Since Adam had confessed everything, he was going to be suspended for a while and made to do volunteer work. And suddenly, Jacob went bonkers on Adam.
You filthy moron. I fed you and you backstabbed me. You're done too, Adam. Even if you aren't expelled, you can't stay in this school without me paying your fee. And your mom? Who's gonna pay for her treatments now? It would have been better if you had kept following my orders like a loyal puppy. And now, you're doomed.
And that's when Jacob's dad walked in, looking horrified.
That's enough. I had no idea I was raising such a brat. How dare you exploit this poor kid? Adam, don't you worry, son. I'm here for you. Dad, I'm so sorry. Not a word. Your principal told me everything on the phone, and the rest I've heard myself. I'm sending you to an army school right away.
Jacob kept begging his dad, but it didn't seem like it was going to work in his favor. When Adam and I walked out of the room, I turned to him and said, "How do you feel?"
Never been better. Thanks to you, Aura, I was able to be brave.
I'm just so happy things will be better for you. So now that there's no secret, are you still going to be nice to me?
Yeah, I'll carry your bag every day.
And then he pulled me in for a kiss. From Washington. Before I tell you my crazy story, please like and subscribe. My mom was a nurse at a kids' hospital and worked really odd hours. Since she was bringing me up alone, we stayed at the hospital in a small room, and I was obsessed with all the rich kids who came there. I hardly had any luxuries, and when kids in the hospital got gifts during festivals, all I got were hand-me-downs, and I hated it. So one Christmas, I decided to get even. Did you know that the hospital has a Christmas Eve ghost who only targets kids with really expensive things? You're just making that up. Really? Try sleeping with your gifts tonight in your room and see what happens. And later that night, I snuck into their rooms and made the creepiest sounds. And the next morning, all the kids freaked out and had thrown out their presents. They even called their parents to get moved to another place immediately. And Mom almost got fired. She was pissed at me for days. But at least I was able to sneak a pretty sweater from the pile of gifts for myself. One day, I even wore it to school thinking I looked amazing. But sadly, being a nobody meant no one noticed me, except for my bestie Mariah. That's a cute sweater. I know! What does one have to do to get noticed around here? Growing up, I learned that being rich was the answer to everything. People noticed you, they were kinder, and life was better. But Mom thought otherwise. Money and fame only favors those who work hard. What are you talking about? The Kardashians didn't work hard, and they have everything. That's because they belong to a popular family. You don't. Mom was right. If I wanted to be rich, I had to start hanging out with the popular crowd. My first target was Kenzie, the cheer captain, and the most popular girl in school. Kenzie doesn't even know you exist. Besides, she's so snooty. Why would you want to be friends with her? Duh, she's a queen. Have you seen the parties she throws for her girl gang? I just need to work my charm. Watch this. Hey, Kenzie, do you mind if I borrow your, I was mid-sentence when Kenzie simply walked off, like I was invisible. Wow, that was painful to watch. Whatever, she had her earphones on. Over the next few weeks, I tried everything to get Kenzie to notice me. I laughed a little too hard at her dumb jokes and came early to school so I could grab a seat next to her. My efforts paid off when one day in 12th grade, the teacher gave us our test results. OMG, my dad's gonna kill me. I got a D again. That's not so bad. Besides, D stands for diva, and that's what you are. D also stands for dumb bimbo. What did you just say? Just ignore her. You deserve better, Kenzie, and I can help. You see, I'm kind of a genius, so let me take care of your homework. You are? Oh, and you got an A? Okay, I trust you. And just like that, I was in. Kenzie and her friends were sweethearts and really needed me to help them out with their homework. They even trusted me to pick their lunches and grab their morning lattes. There you go, Kenzie. Your oat milk latte with just a dash of coconut sugar, an extra shot of espresso, hazelnut sauce, and vegan ice cream. Just how you like it. Oh, you're a darling, Minnesota. Dakota. But Kenzie just walked away sipping her weird coffee. What are you doing? Kenzie has you wrapped around her fingers like some errand girl. What's next? You'll clean her shoes and wash her bathroom? Oh, come on. She needs my help. And no good deed goes unnoticed. Mariah didn't agree with me, but I didn't care. I was with the popular crowd, but I still wasn't as famous as them until one day during lunch, something unbelievable happened. OMG, someone help him! I looked across the room to see Isaac, the new guy in school, and a famous singer, choking. I'd seen my mom at work sometimes perform a Heimlich maneuver, so I jumped into action.
Oh my God. You saved my life. What's your name?
I'm Dakota.
Wow. Thanks, Dakota. Join us.
It's cool, actually. I'll just have lunch with my friend right there.
Get her too.
Mariah gave me a death stare as I reluctantly pulled up a chair next to Isaac. But just when Mariah was about to sit down, Kenzie kicked the chair out from under her. Oops, sorry. I was just stretching. You totally did that on purpose. Mariah, relax. I'm sure it was just an honest mistake. It's fine, Kenzie. We were just leaving anyway. After that day, Isaac started inviting Mariah and me over to his table daily. And slowly, we became part of the elite circle at school. That's when people actually started noticing me. I could tell Kenzie was a bit weird about it, especially when Isaac invited me to one of his parties, which was amazing. I was dressed in my most expensive outfit, but I still felt shabby. I was just admiring the place when I ran into Kenzie. Kenzie, hi. I'm sorry, I wasn't looking. Maybe you weren't looking in the mirror when you dressed like that. Anyway, you're here now. Go get me some punch or something.
Don't listen to her, Dakota. You look just fine. And get your own drink, Kenzie.
Isaac pulled me away and introduced me to the rest of his friends before slipping into the backyard.
I never really thanked you for saving my life. I'm surprised at how strong you are. Like Lady Hulk. Most girls I meet are super delicate, but you're as strong as a horse.
Did he just call me manly? Before I could reply, I suddenly tripped over a rock, but Isaac saved me just in time. I could feel my heart racing as he held onto my waist. And the next thing I knew, we were surrounded by 100 photographers going crazy. Isaac pulled me into his limo and his driver fled the scene. On the drive to my house, pictures of Isaac and me together started flooding my phone. What the heck is happening? These paparazzi are calling me your girlfriend.
I know this is crazy, but please don't tell anyone we aren't dating.
What? Why?
Maybe you've heard about me and Lucy?
Two of the hottest young pop stars having a super messy breakup? Yeah, hard to miss that one.
The truth is, I'm still not over her. If people think you and I are a couple, Lucy will surely notice, and maybe she'll rethink our breakup.
That's lying.
Technically, it's like hiding the truth.
Your fans pick apart everything about your life. Faking a relationship will be tough.
I know, but try. I have a feeling you're good at it.
I didn't want to trick people, but being with Isaac would change my life. Besides, there were worse things in the world than fake dating a pop sensation, right? News about me dating Isaac spread like wildfire, and the next day at school, people were treating me like an A-grade celebrity. Dakota, bestie. Oh, you look amazing. Really? That's a first. OMG, you're so funny. I was wondering if you'd like to go shopping with me. I'm sure you need to upgrade your wardrobe, right? I can help you. Yeah, sounds good. My life had taken a whole 180-degree turn, and I was loving everything about it, except that being Queen Bee was a full-time job, and I didn't have time to hang out with Mariah anymore. I have to go shopping. My wardrobe is on life support. Tomorrow, then? Actually, I have to attend a show with Isaac. So now what? We're not friends anymore because you're famous? Don't be silly. How about we hang out the day after? Fine, but don't be late. I really need to talk to you. But the next day after his show, Isaac told me that we had an interview scheduled at the same time as my plan with Mariah. But I can't. I promised Mariah I'd hang out with her.
Oh, come on. It's for the Rolling Stones. And I'll drop you off after, okay?
I agreed, and kinda had the best time. They asked me questions about my life, and I felt super important. But then my eyes fell on my watch, and I freaked out. I was so late. I immediately rushed to Mariah's place, but she refused to see me. So the next day, I stopped her while she was leaving for school. What now? I'm sorry. I was with Isaac and Isaac. It's like you've joined a lame girl cult. Oh, so annoying. This boy has changed you completely. Look at your clothes and what's with those stupid curls? You think if you do this, he'll notice you more? He's shallow, just like all of them. And guys like him don't fall for girls like us. Listen, I'm sorry I blew you off yesterday, but it was important. And if you don't like my clothes or my makeup, there's a better way to say it than being an absolute witch about it. I don't even know you anymore. Oh yeah? That's what happens when you don't hang out with your real friends. It's called growing up, Mariah. Maybe you should try it too. I instantly regretted my words, but I was so mad at Mariah for being a baby. After that day, we drifted apart and completely ignored each other at school. I missed having her around and thought about telling her that I was only fake dating Isaac, but I knew she'd judge me for it, so I kept quiet. Time passed and Isaac and I got closer. Eventually, I started liking him, and sometimes I thought he liked me too. And it wasn't just an act. But one day, Isaac asked me to accompany him to a tattoo parlor, saying it was something important. When we got there, he rolled up his sleeve to reveal a tattoo with a girl's face that looked like his ex-girlfriend Lucy. And for some reason, I felt a bit jealous. He got a tattoo for her?
Removing it was more painful than when I got the tattoo.
Well, why did you remove it then? I mean, you're obviously trying to get back with Lucy, so you should have just kept it.
That wasn't Lucy. I got it in memory of my childhood bestie who was in an accident many years ago. I miss her, but looking at it every day just makes me feel weird. You know what I mean?
A week later, at a huge concert, Isaac did something unbelievable. In the middle of his performance, with hundreds of screaming fans, he pulled me on the stage and shoved a mic in my hand. Isaac, what are you doing?
Just sing along.
I tried to sing, but I croaked like a frog. This was the first time ever I was in front of so many people, and I froze. The fans started booing and laughing, and I dropped the mic and ran off the stage. Isaac caught up with me after that. Why would you do that? It was so embarrassing. I'm a national laughing stock.
You're supposed to be my girlfriend. How can you not know the lyrics? Now come on, don't make a big deal out of this.
I'm your fake girlfriend, and it is a big deal. I don't want people to think I'm a fool. You know what? This whole thing was a mistake. I'm leaving. I was so embarrassed, I couldn't sleep a wink that night. The entire weekend, my phone kept buzzing with messages and calls from unknown numbers. I couldn't answer them, not now, after being a public joke. When I went to school a few days later, I could feel all eyes on me. Just then, a bunch of media people surrounded me.
How does it feel to lose your boyfriend and self-respect?
Did Isaac only date you out of charity? They were brutal. This wasn't the kind of fame I had in mind. I turned around to leave, but Kenzie stopped me. I always thought Isaac was too good for a nobody like you. And obviously, your embarrassing stunt sent him running back to Lucy. She flashed her phone in my face with a picture of Isaac and his ex-girlfriend Lucy in some fancy restaurant. I felt betrayed and miserable. But what was I expecting? We were never in a real relationship. Aw, are you crying? Shut up, Kenzie. I turned around to see Mariah behind me. You guys are back together. Now that's a happy ending you deserve. And I think you deserve a makeover. Ah, my limited edition Prada! Kenzie screamed and stormed off as I turned to Mariah. I'm sorry, Mariah. I was a total idiot for choosing them over you. That's true. One real friendship is better than fake dating a shallow celebrity. You knew? Of course I knew. We're BFFs. I know when you're lying. Why didn't you say anything? I could have used my best friend. I thought you didn't need me anymore. And I had my own issues to deal with. That's when she told me her parents had let her know recently that they were getting divorced. Mariah, I am so sorry I wasn't there. You're here now, so let's forget everything and move on. I'd love that. Mariah and I made up, and she helped me get back on track with my studies. Isaac tried reaching out to me a few times, but I wasn't ready to get dragged into another mess, so I kept my distance. And a few days later, he left for his global tour. I decided I'd follow in my mom's footsteps and become a nurse once high school was over. I was done with this whole idea of being rich and popular. Fame really wasn't as great as it looked. One day, I was helping Mom with something when all of the kids at the hospital started screaming in excitement. I went outside to see what the deal was, and I was stunned to find Isaac. What are you doing here?
You weren't answering my calls.
Why should I? You embarrassed the heck out of me and dumped me the next day. That was so shallow of you.
You were the shallow one who was dying to please Kenzie. You agreed to date me to show off and used me as a tool. But look at what you did. I'm in love with you now, and you don't even care.
Of course I do. Hold up. You love me? Then what about Lucy? I saw your pictures.
I met Lucy that day to tell her that I'm finally over her because I love you, dummy, just as you are. Kind and smart. Wasn't it obvious?
Nope. You should have said something.
In case you haven't noticed, I suck at expressing my feelings. So, you think we can give us a real shot?
Maybe, but I can't be in the spotlight again.
I promise. So, dinner tonight?
As long as it's not chicken. It's all my fault. Even though this may look like an action movie, this is actually a love story. When I was 15, me and my mom went on vacation. I basically didn't say a word the whole time. I had just gotten braces and I felt so ugly.
Come on, honey. Just try to enjoy your vacation.
How can I? I look like I just ate a fence.
But you need your braces.
I know I do. That's why I told you I didn't want to leave the house all summer. Yeah, I was a bit of a brat. But can you blame me? I was a moody 15-year-old girl and my smile looked like a meat grinder. I stayed in the vacation house all day and would only go out at night to take walks by the beach. One night, I was walking and I saw someone in front of me. It was a boy. I couldn't really tell what he looked like because we were both in the shadows. The moon was the only light we could see.
Can't sleep either?
Something like that.
Actually, that's not why I'm out here. I don't want people to see me during the day because I have braces and I look horrible.
You have braces too?
Yeah, do you?
Yeah, I look like I ate a can of tuna fish.
Well, your shadow's pretty.
We hung out for a while and talked about how we both loved musicals and theater. He was funny and I made him laugh a lot too. He told me his name was Kyle. The next night, I went out and I saw him again. We kept meeting up in the darkness every night. And then, on our last night there, the sun's coming up soon. We should go.
What if we stayed and waited for the light? I don't care if you have braces. I already think you're beautiful.
So we sat there and waited for the sun. And when it rose, I finally saw him and he saw me. He was the cutest boy I ever saw, especially because of the braces. He leaned in to kiss me, but his mom called him, and then my mom called me. It was time to go.
Promise me something. Never hide yourself in the dark again, okay?
Okay. I watched him go. His words stuck with me, and from then on, I started auditioning for shows and didn't mind my braces. Pretty soon, I was the most famous dancer in my whole town. Kyle and I talked online for a while, but I got busy doing plays and eventually we lost touch. I never thought I would see him again. And then, a few years later, on the opening night of the play at my community theater, everything changed. I had a slow dance solo in a sad scene, but I was really nervous because at all of our rehearsals, the boy who was working the spotlight could never keep up with my dancing. I danced, and to my surprise, I didn't slip out of the light at all, not even for a second. It was like I was dancing in starlight. Everyone stood up and cheered when I was done. It was exactly what I'd been dreaming of all my life. After the play, I ran upstairs to thank the boy for doing such a great job. Steve, that was amazing.
Thanks. Steve got sick, so I filled in.
Oh, hi. I'm Abigail.
Everybody knows who you are. I guess you don't recognize me without the braces.
Wait, Kyle? What are you doing here?
We moved a few months ago. I didn't know you were here either.
Steve couldn't keep up with me on the spotlight. How did you know where I was going at every step?
I didn't, but I figured you've been in the dark long enough.
Oh, good thing we both got our teeth fixed.
I'm just glad you couldn't see me. I've never cried at a play before.
You cried? I don't believe you.
Look for yourself.
Liar.
I guess they tried. Let me make it up to you. How about a celebration dinner?
My family's here, but tomorrow's good. The next 24 hours were the longest of my life. All day, I tried on different outfits and experiments with makeup. The truth was, even though we lost touch, I never forgot him and never felt that way with anyone else. I rushed outside when he called. What I wasn't expecting was that he had a motorcycle.
Wow, you didn't even bother to dress up?
Excuse me, do you know how long—
I'm kidding. You look beautiful.
Yeah, I do. And don't you forget it. And you better have something good planned. I'm expecting a real effort and will accept nothing less.
I was planning on going to the Taco Bell drive-thru. Is that good?
You better be kidding.
0 points for the joke, but you have to admit, I have good taste. Ow! Don't worry, I have something planned. Not Taco Bell, promise.
We rode his bike and I felt just like I did when I was dancing, totally free. It was like no time had passed at all, like we had known each other forever. He actually took me to this amazing new restaurant, paid before the check even got there, and took me to the beach after where we got ice cream and went for a long walk. I didn't want to show it, but I was already falling for him. With Kyle, it was just comfortable. We almost kissed when he was dropping me off, but I could tell he didn't want to pressure me and I didn't want to move too fast. So we shook hands. A little awkward, but kind of funny too. Needless to say, that night, he was all I could think of. If I knew how messy things were gonna get, I might have ended things right then. I'm freaking out. This job would make me totally independent. I could finally save enough to get my own place and not have to live with my stepdad anymore. That's great. Why are you so scared? My last job interview, I froze. I'm terrible at interviews. I get so anxious.
So, why do you want to work at our store? Are you serious right now? Sorry, we don't accept that kind of attitude here at our big fancy clothing store. You're fired.
After a while, he finally took it seriously, and we actually did a little mock interview. It went well, but he was still totally freaked out. You're doing great. Relax, just be yourself.
I really appreciate the help. I feel much better already, but the interview's not the only reason I'm nervous. There's something I have to tell you. I don't just want this job, I need it. It's part of my probation.
Probation? Like, you got arrested?
Yeah. If I can't keep a job, I could go to jail. They arrested me for reckless driving, but it wasn't my fault. My sister called me and she was having an asthma attack, so I had to drive her inhaler to her. The police were behind me, but I didn't stop. The judge gave me a break because I helped my sister, but he said if I get into any more trouble, I could go to jail.
I'm so sorry, but I'm sure you'll get the job, especially since you have all these interviewing skills now. And you know, I have asthma too, so I thank you for your service. We need people like you. Just then, my phone rang. It was my theater director. She said if he saw me dancing at our next show, I'd have a real chance of being hired on Broadway. It was my dream. And the next day, Kyle told me the interview went great and he got the job. Everything was perfect. All I had to do now was nail the performance and dance my heart out. But then, on the day of our next show, I was stretching at home trying to stay calm when Kyle called me in a panic.
Abby, I need your help. Yesterday, my boss sent me to deposit the store's money in the bank 5 minutes before they closed. I didn't make it on time, so I kept it under my bed to do it today, but now he's asking me to stay late and the bank closes early. Can't you just tell him that? They won't suspect you if you still have the money. My boss is already suspicious of me. He knows about the probation. If he knows I took it home, he'll think I wanted to take it. Please, Abby.
I would have to run, but I still had time before my show, and I knew how much trouble he could get into if they suspected him of a crime, so I said yes. I never ran so fast in my life. When I got to Kyle's house, no one was home and the doors and windows were locked. Time was ticking. I knew the banks closed at 3. That only gave me 20 minutes. Then I saw the attic window was open. So I started climbing. Oh no. Come on, Abigail. Use those strong dancing legs of yours. Finally, I got in. I went to his room, grabbed the envelope from under the bed, and dashed back out. Everything went blank for a moment. Then the world came back into focus, and I saw that I had run into a boy who was staring at the envelope. It got ripped, and he could see the money inside. I grabbed it before he had a chance to do anything and kept running. I saw the bank. Finally, it was right there. I had made it with 2 minutes to spare.
Miss Abigail.
Oh my, it's really you. I couldn't believe it. I had only seen him on TV before. I was totally starstruck for a second.
I'm coming to your show tonight. I can't wait to see you. We have an opening for our next show. We need someone just your age, as long as you can dance, of course.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. I can't talk right now. I have to run. I'll explain later. I'm sorry. I was in too much of a rush to think about the fact that I had just very rudely turned my back on the guy who could give me my dream life. Oh no, what was I gonna do? When in doubt, just tell the truth. I could just say it was my fault. What a jerk! I ran after him, but he was too fast on the scooter. By the time I turned the corner, he was gone. Oh no, now Kyle was really in trouble. I couldn't move. I didn't know what to do. How could I explain this? No one would believe me. At the store, I told Kyle everything. When he saw his boss, he told me to hide behind the rack of clothes. But I can explain. He won't believe you, and you'll be involved. He pulled the rack in front of me as his boss rushed up to him.
The bank says they didn't get the money, Kyle. Where is it? I'm sorry. It was my responsibility. The money was stolen. Thief! I knew this would happen. They told me you were on parole, but I wanted to give you a chance. Now, I'm calling the police. I'm sorry, Abigail. I'll have to miss your show.
He rushed to the motorcycle. I couldn't believe it. He was gonna run?
I know it seems crazy, but without the money or any evidence, they'll think I took it. There's no option for me now.
But I was totally lost, confused, and so upset with myself. There had to be a way to fix it, but I couldn't even think about that now because it was time for the biggest performance of my life. The producer was right there in the front row, watching, and he didn't look too happy. I had been so rude to him. All I could do now was rely on my dancing skills to get me through. Except Steve was on the spotlight, and I was still out of breath from running and so upset that Kyle was in trouble with the police. When my solo came, I was so upset I fell on stage and cried in front of everyone. I ran off, and the show was canceled for the night. As I was walking home, totally crushed, I decided to only focus on what I could control. The show was over, but I could still help Kyle. I would tell his boss it was me who had stolen the money. Of course, I would get in trouble, but not as much as Kyle. This is where we began. The big mess I had made. He looked at me as he passed. I wanted to stop the police, but they were too fast. But I knew the park next to me would take me right to where they were going. If I could run across, I could catch them and stop the police to tell them it was me. Once again, I was running. Only this time, I didn't have my inhaler. I forgot I had left it in my dressing room when I ran out crying. As I cut through the park, I couldn't breathe. I saw Kyle's bike on the other side. He saw me too, but before I knew it, I was fainted on the muddy ground. When I woke up, I was in his arms. He had stopped to help and the police cars were rushing towards us. I was in the hospital for a day. My mom told me that Kyle was arrested, but I knew he would have to see the judge before they really made any decision. I asked her when it was, and she said today. I made her drive me to court as soon as the doctor said it was okay. I rushed inside. Stop! It was me. I lost the money. Kyle didn't do anything wrong, I promise. Even though the judge believed me, he still said we were to blame. And Kyle ran from the police, so if he was going to be released, we needed to pay back the money to the store. I started working at the theater, and Kyle also had to go back to his job. We both made no money because we had to give it all away and were too exhausted to even hang out. It was the perfect punishment for me since I could barely see him and had to watch other people perform while I cleaned and took people's tickets. Of course, anytime I did have a free moment, I danced.
Hey, hero. You have a second?
He had come to surprise me at work. He took me to the auditorium where everything had been decorated for what looked like a big party. What's going on?
Well, I figured you have to pay the money back, but that doesn't mean it's gotta be a punishment. Why not have some fun? I talked to your boss, and we're throwing a fundraiser for us to get the rest of the money. And the best part, you're the star of the show.
This is amazing. Thank you so much.
Sorry I ruined your chances of going to Broadway.
It doesn't matter if I only dance here and not on a big stage. As long as I have you, I can dance anywhere. He held me in his light again. This time, I knew I wouldn't get lost in the dark. Hi, I'm Alasne from a village in Brazil. Please like and subscribe. My name means miracle, and that's because Mom was totally not expecting to have me. I came into the world 10 years after my older sister Mira, and both she and my mom adored me. Since my dad left soon after I was born, Mom had to do 2 jobs to make ends meet. Growing up, Mira was always in charge of me. She was like my second mom. As a kid, I was quite short for my age, and I always got picked last for gym class. One day in 3rd grade, I'd had an awful day at school, and Mira noticed my face when she came to pick me up. "What's wrong, Allie?" "I suck. I'm gonna be short and sad forever." "You don't suck. You can be the greatest person ever, but you have to see the greatness in yourself first." You mean I can even be a short president? Of course, lots of presidents are short, and you're still growing, love. Mira was the most beautiful girl in the village, and whenever we walked on the streets, boys would be falling over themselves to get her attention. But I was always there to save her. Mira, please marry me. Buzz off, bozo. Mira and I are gonna live together forever in our candy castles. No space for boys, right, sis? Right. Everything in our life was great until one day in 7th grade, I came home to see my mom, Mira, and some strange man in the living room. I'd never seen Mira look this happy before. Allie, I'm getting married. Wait, what? My heart stopped as I looked at the man holding her hand. You can't get married. What about me? Plus, that man is quite ugly. That's so rude. Apologize right now. You lied to me, Mira. You said we'd live together forever, and now you're leaving? I can't believe this. I stormed off to my room and wouldn't speak to Mira or Mom. I wouldn't even join in any of the wedding preparations. I knew I was making Mira sad, but I was too heartbroken to care. After the wedding, Mira got ready to leave for the big city, and I watched her from my window. When she got in the car, she turned around to look up at me and blew me a kiss. Suddenly, the car started moving, and I raced downstairs. I couldn't let her leave without hugging her goodbye, but the car turned a corner and disappeared. It was too late, and Mira was really gone. While Mom would be away at work now, I'd be alone at home after school, and I had to find a way to keep myself busy. I started writing, mostly to vent my feelings and miss Mira less, but soon I really began to enjoy it. 2 years went by, and when it was time for high school, Mom gave me some surprising news. She told me that she'd been saving up to send me to a fancy school right outside of the village. But that must be really expensive, Mom. I can manage it, don't worry. You're so smart, Allie, and I want you to have the best. A few days later, I was busy writing when I suddenly looked out the window to see a boy on a horse plucking apples from our tree without even asking. I wasn't letting him get away with this. I grabbed some eggs from the table and ran after him, flinging them straight at his head. Oh my God, are you crazy? What do you think you're doing? The boy jumped off his horse and came towards me, and I noticed that he had the most extraordinary eyes, one green and one blue. How dare you take those apples without our permission? Girl, do you have any idea who I am? You can be the Sultan of Morocco for all I care. I'm from the Carlos family. My parents practically own this village. But you don't own this apple tree, and you don't own my house, so you're stealing and trespassing, sir. The boy stared at me and then smirked. You're a little firecracker, aren't you? And you've got great aim for someone with such short arms. Before I could reply, he dropped the apples and walked off. Ugh, just wanted to punch his face with my tiny fists. But if he was telling the truth, the Carlos family did own the village, and I hoped I hadn't gotten me and Mom into trouble. A day before my new school was starting, I was beginning to feel more nervous than excited. The place would be full of rich kids, and I'd really stick out in my old clothes and shoes. But that evening, a huge package arrived at our door. I opened it, and inside was the most beautiful jacket ever. First days can be hard, but never forget how amazing you are. P.S. I'm sorry I missed Christmas again. Love, Mira. I was so happy I had something lovely to wear. Mira and I rarely talk these days because she hadn't visited once and now had a baby that always kept her busy. But I couldn't be mad at this gift. I walked into the huge school building feeling confident, and my first day was actually going great until I went to the cafeteria. I just sat down at a table when suddenly someone pushed my head straight into my food. Sorry, this table isn't for losers. As the kids around him snickered, I felt angry and speechless. I got up to leave when suddenly a boy appeared, the apple thief. Guys, you mind if I sit here? Of course not. Please, join us. Well then, my friend sits with me. He gently took my arm and led me back to the table. I played along with his act, but as soon as recess was over, I turned to him. You didn't have to do that. I can take care of myself. Oh, I know that. Look, we didn't get off to the best start, and I'd like for us to start over. So, what do you say? Friends? Okay, if you insist. Friends. His name was Julius, and he'd been studying in the city, but he had returned to the village to help his father with the family business. I started hanging out with him and thought he'd be rather spoiled, but he was actually quite sweet. And even though he was new, he was soon one of the most popular guys in school. Everyone wanted to be his friend, and they all shot me weird looks. Everybody loves Julius. You could have your own fan club.
It's not me they like, it's my parents' money.
They're also wondering why you're friends with the poor short girl. Why are you friends with me, man?
Because you wouldn't be fake with me, even if I was the Sultan of Morocco.
By the time high school was ending, Julius and I were best friends. I secretly had the biggest crush on him, but I would never say anything. I knew he'd never see me like that. One afternoon, I was walking back home after some errands when I spotted Julius in the park with this really pretty girl on his arm, and I felt my heart sink. Julius waved me over and introduced the girl as his dad's business partner, Sabrina. He asked me to join them as he showed her around, but I muttered some reply and quickly left. She was everything I could never be, and that hurt. For the next few days, Sabrina was stuck to Julius like a fly, and I made every excuse I could to avoid them. But one day when I was home alone, I heard a knock at the door and found Julius outside.
Am I imagining it, or are you avoiding me?
Why would I do that? I'm just busy.
Busy or jealous?
What? Why would I be jealous?
Maybe because you have feelings for me and don't like seeing me with Sabrina?
Jeez, you're so full of yourself. I don't like you, not one bit. You can marry her for all I— Just then, Julius pulled me close and kissed me.
I love you, Allie. I always have, but I was never sure if you did.
I do. I love you too, Julius. It felt amazing to be with Julius as his girlfriend. We graduated high school and had the best summer together. And then one day, Julius said he wanted me to meet his parents. I felt super intimidated by the idea, but it meant he was serious about me. I wore my best dress, but I still felt shabby when I reached their house. It was basically a palace, and I could just tell his parents weren't happy to see me. The dinner was going awkwardly, and in the middle, I excused myself to use the bathroom. But as I got up, I crashed straight into a servant carrying in the next course, and we both landed on the floor with food all over me.
Let's just get you home.
He didn't even drop me off himself. He sent me back with a driver. But the next day, Julius came to see me with tears in his eyes.
Allie, I am so sorry. My parents said they won't ever accept our marriage, and I think it's better if we end things now.
What? Is that how you feel too, Julius? Are you ashamed of me?
Of course not, but I don't have a choice right now. They'll cut me off, and I won't be able to take care of you. Listen, I'm leaving for London tonight, but I will write to you often, and I'll work hard, and when I've made something of myself, I'll come back for you, I promise.
Why did the people I love the most always leave me?
Allie, wait for me. I will come back for you.
He kissed me and left. I cried for days, feeling heartbroken, but he had promised he'd write, and I decided not to lose hope. I waited for 2 weeks, but when I didn't get a letter, I walked over to the post office. It was a 3-hour walk back and forth, and the mailman told me he had no letter for me, but I continued visiting for a couple of months. Every time my heart sank when I heard the words,
"Sorry, miss. No letter for you today."
But he promised he'd write often, and I believe him.
The minute I get your letter, kiddo, I'll come and deliver it as fast as I can.
But since I didn't stop visiting, the mailman offered me a spare bicycle so I wouldn't have to walk so much. One day at the post office, I saw a woman get a letter, and as she held it up to read, I noticed that the handwriting looked like Julius. I rushed to her and snatched it. "That's my letter!" But I was so embarrassed when I read it and realized it wasn't. The woman yelled at me and called me crazy before she left. Maybe I was losing my mind. And then one day, a man read his letter outside the post office, tore it up, and threw the pieces in the air. And I just couldn't stop thinking, what if he'd gotten my letter by mistake? I fell to the ground and frantically started gathering the pieces, trying to put them together like a puzzle.
Kiddo, I can't watch this anymore. You have to stop.
The mailman picked me up as I sobbed and took me home on his bicycle. Mom looked really worried to see the state I was in and stayed by my side all night. A few days later, I woke up to find Mira sitting in my room. I jumped up to hug her tight, and she pulled me into her lap as I cried. "Allie, I'm here to take you. You cannot continue like this." "But what if he writes?" "Sweetie, it's been a year. It's time to let go." I was too tired to even protest. My bags were already loaded in Mira's car, and Mom kissed me goodbye, and I left the village. It took me a while to recover my health, but it cheered me up to be around Mira and my adorable niece Anna. One day as I was playing with her, Mira walked into the room holding my old notebooks. I found these in your stuff. And Allie, these stories are beautiful. You should definitely start writing again. Do it for me. And Anna, at first, I did start writing stories just for my niece. But Mira also started guiding me about writing programs I could apply to. I joined a university close to her, and by the time I graduated, I already had a novel that I soon got a publishing deal for. To my shock, the novel met with huge success instantly, and I became rich. I moved to a small apartment in the city, and I convinced Mom to come live with me. Life was good. And then one day, as I was attending a book signing event, I heard a voice that made my heart stop.
Can I have your autograph, please?
I looked up into those eyes, one green and one blue. It was Julius. I stared at him in shock, and then I felt a wave of rage. Without a word, I picked up my bag and left the event from the back exit. But he followed me.
Allie, wait. Please, just listen to me.
How dare you show up just like that? You have no right to speak to me, and I don't want you anywhere near me. Leave me alone, Julius, or I will scream for help. But he blocked my way and took something out of his coat pocket, which he shoved into my hands.
These are all my letters, Allie. I wrote to you, just like I promised. You just never got them.
I stared at the letters and then started to cry. Julius led me to a bench, and as we sat down, he explained everything.
I was devastated when you never replied. I thought you'd decided to forget me and move on. And then my mom told me you'd gotten married and left the village, and I gave up completely. But a few months ago, I finally came back home because my dad died. And Allie, I found all my letters in his closet. Mom confessed that Dad had bribed and threatened the village mailman to make sure my letters never reached you.
I couldn't believe that we'd gone through years of heartbreak and anger because of his evil parents. And I had been right to believe in him. I've missed you more than I can ever say.
I know exactly how that feels, Allie.
And with that, he kissed me, and we held each other close for the longest time. We got married soon after, and it was the happiest day. Life with Julius was amazing, and I was so excited to have kids soon. But one evening, he came home with a really serious face.
Allie, there's something I've been meaning to tell you. I can't have kids. The doctors told me a while back. I just didn't know how to tell you.
I felt my world crashing down. You knew before we got married? How could you keep something like that from me? Did you just come back into my life to hurt me? Before he could even say anything, I left the house in tears and went straight to Mira. I told him not to contact me for a few days as I thought things through. I'm not angry because he has a problem. I'm angry because he kept it from me. I don't know if I can forgive him. Of course you can, and you will. It's Julius. After everything you've been through, you're finally together, and I guess he was just afraid to lose you. You can make this work, Allie. She was right, as usual. I went back home to find Julius standing on the balcony, and I took his hand. Julius, we'll adopt kids, as many as we want. As long as we're together, I don't care about anything else. I love you.
Oh, Allie, I love you too.
Photo shoots in London, attended a fashion show in Paris, done an interview for Vogue Italia, and now my exhausted body was about to have some pampering in the fanciest hotel in Greece, all by myself. Suddenly, I heard a loud bang in my room. I went to go check what it was, and I was shocked to see one of my luggage bags moving. I slowly opened it, and a creepy stranger suddenly sprang out from it while sniffing my favorite dress. My bodyguards rushed as I screamed in horror. This is a serious invasion of my privacy. Take him away right now.
Iris, I'm begging you. Just one kiss and a selfie. I'm your #1 fan!
Oh, please. Can I ever get a freaking break? Hi, my name is Iris, and I'm a famous supermodel with a billionaire boyfriend. It might sound like every teenage girl's dream, but for me, it was my worst nightmare. Before I continue, please like and subscribe. The hotel incident was circulating on the news in no time, and as soon as I reached my parents, they immediately fired my bodyguards. I forced my manager to clear my schedule for a week so I could just breathe. But the universe literally said no. While I was doing yoga in my room, someone suddenly barged in. It was my new boyfriend, Rocco. He was the son of an A-list actor, and he seemed pretty cool. Not to mention, really, really hot. Rocco, what are you doing here?
It's been 8 minutes since my last chat. Why aren't you replying?
You came all the way here just for that?
No, I came here to do this. Will you marry me?
What the freaking crabs? Are you crazy? We'd been dating for like 5 days.
You made me believe you loved me.
I don't even know your eye color, Rocco. Suddenly, he started bawling like a baby on the floor.
Oh my God, my heart, it hurts so bad.
What the heck are you doing?
I love you, Iris. I won't leave until you say yes.
He really meant it, and I had to have him thrown out by security. After all the crazy incidents with the paparazzi and my fans, Rocco was the last straw, and I'd finally had enough. I was tired of being worshipped and followed because I was a famous model. One day, as I was watching my favorite channel, MSA, I came across a video of a model who got plastic surgery to change her identity. It would be amazing to just disappear and return as a completely different person. Wait, that was actually a great idea. I tried on a black wig with bangs to cover my eyes, changed my eye color from blue to green, threw in some makeup and baggy clothes, and I couldn't even recognize myself. Mom screamed upon seeing me and almost reported me as a trespasser. I told him about my plan of giving up my career and identity for a while, and Dad told me I was crazy. No, Dad, I'm not. I just want to be a normal girl living a normal life with no bodyguards and obsessed fans around me 24/7. I want to live somewhere else that no one knows about. I've been homeschooled all my life, and now I want to go to an actual school and have friends. Please, let me have this. I'm begging you. They were speechless for a whole minute.
Do as you please, sweetheart. Take a break for as long as you want. You deserve it.
Dad?
Fine, but on one condition. I'll choose the apartment for you, and you have to take at least 2 maids with you.
Deal. And just like that, I was off to a new chapter in my life as the cool and mysterious Siri. As I was walking towards the school building on my first day, I suddenly stopped upon seeing a scary dog in the middle of the road. And when it started to chase me, suddenly a skateboard came flying into the air, scaring it away. Gosh, that was close. I turned to my savior, and he was cute. Hey there, thanks for saving my life.
What? I was just doing a backflip and my skateboard slipped.
You still saved my life. What's your name?
You're not my type, Sweetcakes, so move on.
Wait, did he just reject me? Well, that was something new. I had never felt so lost when I finally got into the school building. Everyone was wearing Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Chanel, Hermes, and Prada, and they were all fake. Was this an actual school or an amateur fashion club? And everyone was looking at me like I was wearing something disgusting. Was it because of my oversized hoodie? But I had to look as different as I possibly could from my original self. When I finally got into my class, no one even glanced at me. For the first time, I felt invisible, and I wasn't complaining. I headed to an empty seat, but before I could finally sit, a girl put gum on it. I don't sit with losers. Me? A loser? Huh? Just then, a familiar guy came in. It was the skater boy. Hey, do you remember me? We met earlier today.
Are you stalking me? Just give it up, Sweetcakes.
I was already here, and my name isn't Sweetcakes, it's Siri.
So, you're like the real-life Siri, iPhone's virtual assistant?
I just spelled my name backward for this identity, and that hadn't even crossed my mind.
Hey guys, we got the real-life Siri over here.
Then they all started making fun of my fake name, and it was so annoying. Hey Siri, can I eat my shoes without dying?
Hey Siri, would a worm eat a dead worm?
I put my headphones on, but Skater Boy took them off.
Why aren't you answering our questions? Are you glitching or something?
Haven't you heard of the latest Apple update? Siri won't answer stupid questions from now on.
I didn't know Siri was actually feisty.
Just then, a familiar girl entered, and her eyes went straight to me. OMG, what a terrible day to have eyes. That outfit is horrible. someone take this new girl out of this room right now.
Stop acting like you're the fashion queen, Peyton. Remember how you got rejected for a commercial and never made it as a model? And your tantrum video went viral?
Those people were just blind. I couldn't believe they chose that trash Iris over me. She stole my place.
Iris is not trash. Iris is a goddess.
Wait, Iris? Sorry to butt in, but are you guys talking about the supermodel? Yes, the worst supermodel of all time. Oh, now I remembered this girl. She'd auditioned with me for the commercial that launched my career, and she'd thrown a huge tantrum when she wasn't selected. And Skater Boy actually had a crush on me. How interesting. Soon, I learned that his name was Marcus. He was living in the same neighborhood as mine, and he was famous for his pranks. One time, he brought a freaking cow to school and left it at the top of the stairs. No one knew how he managed to do it. Another time, he stole the teacher's necklace and replaced it with a fake snake, and she literally passed out. He was insane. One day in the library, I was trying to get a book from a higher shelf, but I couldn't reach it, and he suddenly appeared behind me.
You need help?
Yes, please. I need that book over there. To my surprise, he transferred it to the very top shelf instead and walked off. Ugh, he was really something else. It was lunchtime and I was starving. As a model, I was always on a very strict diet, but now I could eat whatever I wanted. No one wanted to sit with me, so I chose a table at the corner. And just then, Marcus came over with his friends.
This is our table. Go away.
Sorry, I didn't see your name on it. Can't we share it?
We can, but on one condition. You have to clean my skateboard later. I ran over a huge pile of poop.
No thanks. I'd rather eat on the floor. And with that, I did what I said, and everyone looked so confused. Marcus started calling me a weirdo since then. Over the next few days, I noticed that Peyton kept spreading fake information about me, the model Iris. She obviously hated me and wanted everyone to join the club. I heard that her breath smells like cat's poop and her head is full of dandruff, and all her boyfriends ditched her because she's too clingy. Oh my god, ew, why is she even a model? You're way better than her, girl. I know, right? So unfair. I don't deserve this. I was about to say something, but someone did it for me first.
Stop farting through your mouth, Peyton. Those are all lies.
Truth hurts, darling. I heard she quit modeling. Maybe she finally realized she isn't anything special. Yet somehow she's a famous supermodel with tons of fans, and you've got this lame haters club in school. You seem obsessed with her. Marcus burst out laughing and shouted,
"You tell her, weirdo."
While Peyton looked furious. I thought she'd rip my hair out, but instead she just stormed off angrily. On my way to class the next day, a girl bumped into me and spilled her coffee all over my shirt right before a presentation. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. She offered to lend me her extra shirt in her locker, and I thought that was really nice of her. But in the middle of the presentation, I started scratching myself, and I couldn't stop. Soon, everyone was laughing like wild hyenas, including Marcus. When I saw my reflection, I could barely recognize myself. My skin was red and bloated. I looked like a pufferfish. Just then, I saw Peyton and that girl high-fiving. I knew they'd planned this. Oh, I was so gonna make her pay. I was then sent to the clinic, and the nurse told me to continue my treatment at home. Later that night, I was about to sleep when someone crashed through my window. I grabbed a bat to attack the intruder, and then I realized it was Marcus.
Relax, weirdo. It's just me.
Oh no, I didn't have my wig and contact lens on. I grabbed my shades and wrapped a pillowcase around my hair before facing him.
Why are you wearing that at midnight? You look like a stupid sushi roll.
I don't have to explain myself to you. Anyway, get out! You're trespassing!
Calm down, okay? I just wanted to give you this. An apology gift for laughing at you earlier.
I was about to smile when I realized that it was a pufferfish. Seriously?
Ow!
He then told me that he overheard Peyton and her friend talking about how they'd put some chemical on that shirt.
That was really uncool. Let's go to her house tonight and release tons of bugs in her room.
No, I don't like that kind of revenge. It's lame.
Tell me what's not lame then.
Oh, you'll know it tomorrow. The next day, I surprised everyone by wearing the most expensive Gucci hoodie and boots as I walked in the hallway like a fashion model. You think you're a star now just because you're wearing fake Gucci? Wake up, dummy, you're dreaming. Are you talking about yourself? I slapped her with the receipt of the items, and she suddenly forgot how to speak.
Dude, that was so cool. You literally ate that witch alive.
That's how you do it.
Teach me your ways, senpai.
Only if you'll stop making fun of me.
That's kind of hard, but I'll try.
Marcus and I became closer over the next few months. I always had fun with him, even when he talked about Iris 90% of the time. One time he took me to his place, and I was shocked to see how many posters he had of me.
Just look at her. How can someone be that perfect? It's just unfair to every other girl. No one could ever measure up to her.
Wow, he was beginning to sound as loco as Rocco. But at least there was no danger he'd ever be obsessed with Siri. One weekend we went to the park and he taught me some skateboarding tricks. As a model, I was always careful never to do anything that might get me injured, but this was really fun. In the very next second, the skateboard slipped from under my feet and I went flying backwards. But before my head could hit the ground, Marcus caught me.
Whoa, easy there. You okay?
His face was so close to mine as he looked down in concern, and I noticed for the first time how lovely his eyes were.
Hello? You're kinda heavy, girl. Can you please try to stand up now?
I immediately jumped to my feet. Heavy? I was model thin. Jerk. We skateboarded a bit more and then fell onto the grass to rest. Can I ask you a question, Marcus?
You already asked, dummy.
Why do you love Iris? I mean, how do you love a person when you haven't even met her? Is it just because she's pretty?
3 years back, my sister got sick, and in the hospital, this beautiful girl paid a visit to the kids there and gave them some gifts. I'll never forget how sweet and kind she was to my sister. I didn't know then that she was actually a supermodel, and since then, I started admiring her from afar. I told you, she's perfect.
Oh, so he actually liked me for that and not just because I was pretty. And I felt like I wanted to tell him the truth about me, but I couldn't. Not yet. A few days later, some girls were drooling over a guy in the hallway, and I almost choked on my saliva when I realized who it was. Rocco! Oh my God, what was he doing here?
I need to find Iris. My heart told me she was here. I could literally smell her.
As I ran to the restroom, my wig got caught on something and it almost fell off. I quickly ran to the restroom and fixed it before anyone noticed. Phew! And then I called my dad to tell him about this. He suggested transferring to another school, but something was stopping me. I'd just settled in, and well, there was Marcus. But thank God Rocco was gone when I got out. A few days later, our drama club teacher decided to pair me with Marcus, and there was a scene where we had to kiss and we needed to practice it in front of everyone.
Yuck. No way I'm kissing her.
He then pretended to throw up. What's wrong with kissing me? It's not a big deal.
I just don't want my lips to be tainted by yours.
Excuse me? My lips are not poisonous or gross. The audience started chanting for us to kiss already, but he kept making lame excuses to delay it. Oh, the irony. He was obsessed with Iris, but allergic to Siri. And it was so confusing. Our teacher lost her patience, so we had no choice but to do it. I closed my eyes, and as his lips touched mine, I felt a storm of butterflies in my stomach. He immediately pulled away and yelled,
"This is officially the worst day of my life."
He was pissing me off. I just stormed off after drama class and ignored him all day. Later, when I was walking back home, he caught up with me.
Hey, are you in a bad mood or something? You left without waiting for me.
So? I can do whatever I want. You can't find your way home without me?
What's the matter with you?
Nothing. Can't a girl walk in peace?
Oh, come on. Is it about the kiss? I'm sorry if I overreacted.
It's not about that. But kissing me is not yuck, okay? There are tons of boys who'd love to kiss me.
Oh yeah? Who'd want to kiss a weirdo like you?
Oh, you have no idea, dude.
So what? Did you actually want me to enjoy it?
No, I didn't want you to, but yeah, you should have. I've been told I'm a really good kisser.
Okay, let me try it again then.
I was caught off guard when he suddenly pulled me into a very hot kiss. I was catching my breath as he finally let go of me. that was… wow.
I didn't want to kiss you before because I wanted our first kiss to be special.
He then turned around and left, leaving me completely stunned. I wasn't able to sleep that night because I couldn't stop thinking about our mind-blowing kiss. He liked me. The next day, he wasn't talking to me all day, and it was pure torture. Should I tell him the truth and admit my feelings for him now? I had to, tonight. Unfortunately, Peyton got bored and threw a huge party. I learned that Marcus was going, so I did too, only to regret it instantly. Because just 10 minutes into the party, Peyton suddenly gathered everyone's attention. I prepared a little show for you guys. Are you ready to see it? She started showing pictures of me as Iris. Oh, so she was doing her smear campaigns during parties now? Did you guys know that this famous model… Suddenly, she splashed water on my face and took my wig off. Has been here with us the whole time? Yes, I discovered your little secret in the bathroom one day. So you got bored of your perfect life and decided to fool us all? Oh my God! I met Marcus's eyes across the room and he looked super shocked. No, this couldn't be happening. Just then, the crowd went wild. And before they could jump on me, I ran out of her mansion and called Dad to take me home. The news instantly reached mainstream media, so I was forced to quit school and filed a restraining order against Rocco before he could come looking for me again. I'd been trying to contact Marcus to explain everything, but he never returned my calls and it was killing me. One day, my parents went on a business trip and I was left alone in our mansion. Just then, I heard someone yelling downstairs. I walked to the balcony and saw Marcus being held down by my bodyguards.
Siri, Iris, whatever your name is, I just want to talk to you, please.
Let go of him, boys. My heart was pounding hard as I met with him downstairs. Marcus, what are you doing here? He just threw a magazine in front of me and said,
I want an autograph.
Huh? Did he come here as a fan or what? I picked it up, and while I was signing it, he suddenly grabbed my hand and pulled me into a hug.
I missed you so much.
I missed you too, and I'm sorry for lying to you. I was supposed to tell you that day.
There's no need to explain. You had your reasons. I understand.
Then what took you so long to see me?
I needed more time to think. I was so confused. I have always idolized Iris and always thought that she was the love of my life. But then you came as Siri and everything changed. I couldn't stop thinking about you since the first time I saw you.
Really? For me, it was much later.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Be the supermodel or the annoying weirdo, I don't care. As long as it's you. I love you.
I love you too.
Now, what should I call you?
I haven't thought about that yet. As of now, just call me yours. I couldn't stop yawning. We were having an orientation program at our school auditorium, but everything was so boring. I put on my earphones and listened to an upbeat song to wake myself up. Soon, I just found myself singing along with it. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. Yeah, right? It's better than yours. Suddenly, I stopped when I realized that everyone was looking at me like I mercilessly kicked a puppy. Whoa, what did I do now? Just then, my sister Nova pointed to my earphones, and that's when I realized that my voice was louder than intended, and unfortunately, it was the prayer time. Oopsie. Hi, my name is Heather, and I'm your awkward main character who always ends up doing the most embarrassing things ever. Before I continue, please like and subscribe. I was walking down the hallway when I noticed a guy smiling at me. He was holding a banner which said that he was asking me to the prom. Holy crispy biscuits! Someone actually liked me? I dramatically ran towards him and said, "Oh, my Romeo, yes, yes, yes! I'm going to the prom with you!" But to my surprise, he pushed me away.
Ew, not you, weirdo.
He was actually asking the girl behind me. Well, that was a little awkward. The girl was Shannon, the principal's daughter who acted like she was the queen of the world. She snatched the banner away from him and tore it in half. "How dare you ask me out with that ugly face of yours?" The poor guy dashed away with tears. Shannon had been plastering her stupid face all over the school the whole day, trying to get everyone's votes for the prom queen. I even heard her bad-mouthing my sister Nova, her ultimate rival. They had been competing in terms of fame and beauty, while here I was, just trying my best to act as normal as I could. Nova was a year younger than me, but we were in the same grade because, aside from being a goddess, she was also a genius and everyone was just obsessed with her. When I went to the school gym to see her, I was surprised to see all the boys lining up in front of her.
Please, Nova, I will do anything. Just go to the prom with me and I'll kiss the ground you walk on. I'll pay you $1 million and give you my private island.
But Nova was too busy to care. On the other hand, no one had asked me out yet. Maybe I needed to step up my game this time. Later that night, I decided to practice my social interactions. So I chose my bookshelf to pretend as my boyfriend. While I was kissing it, I caught someone watching me through the bedroom window across mine. Wait a minute, was that Enzo? He used to be my grumpy neighbor when we were kids, but they moved out 10 years ago, and no one had lived in their house since then. I was about to say hi to him, but he raised a banner to give me a message before closing off his window. Rude. During dinner, Mom told us that Enzo's dad decided to continue their business here, so they were staying here permanently. She also added that Enzo was joining our school too, and it made me excited for some reason. Later that night, while I was putting out the garbage bag outside, I saw him doing the same. I almost passed out when he turned to face me. He looked more handsome up close. Wow, look at you, growing up so fine. Miracles do happen indeed.
And you're still a waste of oxygen.
Look, I'm sorry for pushing you on an anthill and stepping on your flowers in your yard. I was just a kid back then. Can we forget the beef and start all over again? As friends, you know, and nothing else. I mean, you're cute, but sorry, you're not my type. But he just gave me a look like I was a lost turd in the street and walked back inside. What a jerk! I just focused on my current goal, getting myself a prom date. But first, I had to get a boy's attention. Most boys loved soccer, so I studied about it all night, and the next day, I walked up to the field where the hottest jocks were practicing and tried to join them. Soccer is the best. I love to kick balls real hard. Nice kick, homie! But everyone was acting like I was invisible. Maybe I should try harder. I grabbed a megaphone and walked up to the middle of the field. Did you know that soccer's modern origins began in England in 1863, but not sure about the exact month and day though. I'll dig into that later. And oh, my favorite player is Lionel Messiah. Finally, someone turned to me, and it was Jacob of all people, the most popular guy in school. Jackpot. As he walked up to me, I gave him my sweetest smile.
Excuse me, but can you move? We're practicing.
Oh, let me join you then. I snatched the ball from him and kicked it, but I ended up kicking him instead. Uh-oh. I dashed away from the field before he could kill me. Just then, I tripped and fell face first into some dog poop. When I looked up, I saw a familiar face walking up to me. It was Enzo. I thought he was going to help me, but to my surprise, he skipped over me and went to pick up a random sunflower on the grass. What a terrible human being! I went to the toilet to clean up and hyped myself up in the mirror to calm down. You're not a potato, you're the ripest strawberry. A queen, a rock star. You don't need to change yourself for someone's validation. Don't chase them. They should be the ones chasing you. But then, you're not running. You're literally standing right now, so how could they chase you? Maybe you should start running. Ah, you're so smart, you little strawberry. As I was blowing myself a kiss and posing like a constipated duck, I noticed someone's reflection behind me. It was Jacob. How long have you been standing there?
Long enough to fall in love with you?
Wow, did someone blackmail you or something? What are you doing here?
I'm here to punish you for kicking me.
But it was a harmless little kick. Or was it an assault? Oh no, I'm going to jail. Do you think they have Wi-Fi there?
You're amusing. Want to be my girlfriend?
Pinch me, punch me, shake me, throw me away to Mars. I might be dreaming. But no, Jacob, the cutest guy in school, just asked me out, so of course, I said yes. We finally started dating, and everyone couldn't believe it, especially Shannon. I'm sure Jacob's just using you for some little entertainment because you're literally a joke and an embarrassment. Remember? He's mine. He's yours, but he's dating me. Weird. Go lick some soap, please. How dare you talk to me like that? Don't you know who I am? You're Shannon, right? Before she could eat me alive, Nova suddenly came and snatched me away from her. What are you doing? What? I didn't do anything. I just told her to go lick some soap. Please, Heather, just stay out of trouble. You'll never win against her. She's the principal's daughter. If we continue to piss her off, we'll be doomed. I still need to be the prom queen and graduate as the top student. Just relax, okay? I got you. I knew Nova wasn't convinced, so I promised myself to behave. I ignored Shannon's death glares at school and focused on the perks of dating Jacob. But for some reason, I wasn't feeling the sparks. One night, he insisted on having dinner with us at home, and Mom couldn't believe it when I introduced him as my boyfriend. Are you sure you're not blind or something? Mom! Jacob just laughed while Nova went ahead to her room. As soon as Jacob left, she suddenly barged into mine. Of all the boys, why him? Don't you find it suspicious that he noticed you all of a sudden after all of these years? Why? You find it impossible for a guy like him to actually like a nutcase like me? It's not like that. I just don't really trust that jock. I started to realize Nova's warning over the next few days. Whenever Jacob and I were together, he would always ask me to do some weird things like talking to a dog and eating without using my hands. He and his friends would then laugh at me like crazy, and it was very insulting. One time after lunch, I had a little food crumb near my nose, and he didn't tell me about it. Everyone thought it was a booger, and he'd been laughing with them all day. I finally had enough. I needed to break up with him, so I followed him to an empty classroom, only to witness something that shook my world. He was trying to kiss a girl, and it wasn't just any other girl. It was my sister. I hid behind a wall to listen to their conversation. Get off me, you jerk.
Come on, Nova. Don't you get it? I only dated your sister just to get close to you.
I don't care. Just leave me and my sister alone. She slapped him before storming off, leaving me totally stunned. His revelation didn't break my heart, but what he did to us was so low of him. I had to teach him a lesson. That weekend after their successful soccer game, I snatched the announcer's mic and dropped a bomb on them. Hi, hello, excuse me. Jacob, first of all, congratulations on the win. Yay! And second, we're done, okay? This is a breakup, and it's not you, it's me. Just kidding, it really is you because you're boring, your breath is stinkier than poop, and your abs are not hard enough for me. So, bye! Everyone erupted into laughter as I walked away, like a boss. Nova couldn't stop squealing about it when we got home. Of all the embarrassing things that you did, that was my favorite. We then decided to go to prom together, and to be honest, that sounded better. As Nova left, I caught myself glancing at my window straight to Enzo's. He was walking back and forth in front of his window while reading a book, and it was making me dizzy. Well, if he wasn't so grumpy and arrogant, that would have been attractive. It had only been a few weeks since he joined our school, but he had already formed his own fan club, and I wasn't surprised. Suddenly, he stopped and looked straight at me. I slowly and pointedly pulled out my chair, sat, leaned on my study table, and opened the book in front of me while making eye contact. Then I wrote something on a piece of paper and showed it to him. He looked amused for a second, but then he rolled his eyes at me before pulling his blinds closed. Wait a minute, why was I smiling? The next day at school, I found out that Shannon got mad because Nova accidentally ruined one of her posters, and now they were having the cat fight of the century. I threw myself between them and pushed Shannon away. Oh, please, Shannon, no matter how hard you try, my sister's gonna win that crown. You're just a plain pancake with 1,000 layers of makeup. My sister is way prettier than you. She's a natural. Natural? Let's make it artificial then. She grabbed a bucket of dirty water from the janitor's cart and splashed it on Nova's face. To get back at her, I grabbed the dirty mop and slapped it on her stupid face, taking everyone by surprise. Hurt my sister again, and I'll slap you with a cactus next time, you filthy creature. You're gonna pay for this. You'll see. That's right. Run home to mommy, because that's all you can do. As expected, the principal suspended both Nova and me for 2 weeks, and that also meant that we couldn't attend prom. Nova tried to negotiate with the principal, but of course, she'd side with her awful daughter. If my sister couldn't be the prom queen, then Shannon shouldn't be either, and I had to do something about it. After carefully planning my revenge, I put on a mask, gloves, and a hoodie, and some props before heading to Shannon's mansion at midnight. I hid behind some bushes as I waited for their front porch light to be turned off. Suddenly, someone popped in beside me.
Fancy seeing you here.
Holy puppies, what are you doing here? Did you follow me?
Judging by your outfit I knew you were about to do something stupid again, so I just came to warn you that trespassing is illegal, and we should just go home.
Why do you care anyway? You're just my grumpy neighbor. Just then, 2 scary black dogs started barking behind us. Oh no, I know I'm not exactly pageant material, but do I look like a bone? Please, don't answer that. Just then, the dogs started chasing us. Enzo grabbed my hand and led me to the back of the house. We then entered an open window and ended up in the kitchen.
We can't stay here. We're gonna get caught.
Don't you think I know that? Remove your shoes. We can't leave marks. They can trace us through shoe marks. I've watched that one episode of CSI where the serial killer was caught because of his Adidas. Can you believe it? Suddenly, someone walked in. Enzo was quick to cover my mouth and pushed me against the wall to hide. As he was on high alert, I couldn't help but think how close we were right now. I could even feel his heartbeat racing. Or was it mine?
She's gone. Now tell me, what exactly do you plan to do for revenge?
Watch me. As we finally reached Shannon's bedroom, I took out my fake crocodile balloon, and while I was blowing it up, I noticed Enzo staring at me. What?
Nothing. You're cute.
Wow, I didn't expect that from you.
Sorry about being grumpy. Those were just the times that I had my period.
I continued blowing up the balloon to hide my blush, and when it was huge enough, I threw it beside the sleeping Shannon, waking her up. I started taking Polaroid pictures of her as she screamed her heart out, making sure I got her worst angles. Enzo and I were chuckling as we fled the scene. We then headed to the school to put up all Shannon's ugly, no makeup pictures all over the school. I got home still on a high about what we just did. Enzo was an amazing accomplice. Speaking of him, I turned to look at his window and my jaw dropped. He looked like he had just had a bath, and then I realized he was shirtless and I could see his abs. His very defined abs. Holy yummy macaroni! Just then he turned to me and caught me drooling all over him. I immediately pretended to be doing exercise by the window. Exercise is important, you know, especially at midnight. Not that you need that information. Like, look at your body, you obviously work out. You look healthy.
You look healthy too.
He then gave me a smile and shut his window. Ugh, that was awkward. The next day at school, the whole building was filled with Shannon's screams. Enzo and I couldn't help but laugh as we watched her tear off her pictures like an idiot. We became closer since then, and soon I just found myself falling for him. One day when I came down, I saw him in our living room. What was he doing here?
Hey, Heather, I want to ask you something.
Oh my gosh, was he finally gonna ask me out on a date?
Is Nova home? I came to return her notes.
Oh, so they were close too. Nova? Yeah, she's here, definitely. This is her house too. Let me get her. I went upstairs and told Nova that Enzo was waiting for her. She went down and they kept talking. I even heard them laughing, and for some reason, it sounded annoying. Enzo and Nova continued hanging out with each other. Of course, if he liked someone, that would be her. I shouldn't be surprised at this point. I decided to distance myself from him. I would act busy whenever he approached me at school. I didn't want another Jacob situation. I had to get over my crush before it was too late. But it wasn't easy, especially since every time I spoke to Nova the past week, she would be like, Enzo this and Enzo that. Did you know that Enzo is excellent at math? Oh, Enzo prefers salty food too. So that weekend, when Nova asked me to hang out with her and Enzo as a favor, I told her I was busy planning on stalking them. They went to the park to feed some ducks, and I was extremely jealous. Suddenly, it looked like he was about to kiss Nova. I jumped out of the bushes and screamed, "Stop! Don't kiss!"
What?
There's an insect. There, it's gone now. Well, hey, you two. Such a coincidence to see you both here.
Are you spying on us?
I'm no spy, you dork.
I thought you were busy.
I was. Anyway, I just realized that I need to go home. I left something in the kitchen when we went out, and I needed to make sure it didn't burn or something. That's why I've been acting anxious. That's right, I need to go home. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the day. Bye! Ugh, that was a disaster. But when Nova got home, she kept insisting that I was jealous. Fine, I was jealous, okay? But it was just a crush. You don't have to worry about it. I'll get over it soon enough. Just, can you please try to not bring him up every time?
Heather, there's nothing going on between us. Every time we hang out, we talk about you. I asked you to come with us today because he said that you've been avoiding him.
What?
The guy is in love with you, you fool.
Her revelation almost made me pee my pants. Thank God I was able to reach the bathroom just in time. I was expecting Enzo to talk to me about it, but to my disappointment, all he did was shut his window and avoid me at school. Weird. The day of the prom finally came, and Nova and I decided to crash the event, and everyone was so hyped up when we came with our iconic outfits. Shannon was about to throw some fit, but then the announcer came up on stage to finally announce the winners. As expected, Jacob won the prom king, and Nova as the queen. Deserved. This is unacceptable. She was disqualified because of her suspension. Shannon tried to snatch the crown from Nova, but some people picked her up and threw her out. Serves her right. I was about to look for Enzo among the crowd when I suddenly crashed into the table of drinks. Everyone turned to me as I bathed in orange juice. Just then, someone approached me and started wiping the juice off my face. Enzo!
You silly girl.
What are you doing?
Taking care of you?
Why?
Because I like you. I like how weird and awkward you are, and how loud your personality can be. I'm drawn to how real you are. I'm in love with you, Heather. Everything about you.
Well, I guess I like your abs. He chuckled and finally asked me the ultimate question.
Will you be my prom queen?
I thought you'd never ask. Everyone then cheered for us as we finally kissed. Hey guys, I'm Kaylee from LA. Please like and subscribe. Ever since I was a little girl, I've always loved to sing. My grandma was a professional singer. She sang around the world with the most prestigious orchestras and operas. I miss her and her voice so much. When I got to 10th grade, I became the singer of the family. I went to the most prestigious performing arts school on the West Coast. My favorite class was music, of course, and my favorite club so far was show choir. We had been the best in the state for 14 years, with the trophies to prove it. My best friend Addison is also in show choir with me. He and I met in kindergarten and have been inseparable ever since. He's the funniest guy I've ever known. He's also gotten pretty cute over the years too. Or at least, that's what all the girls in school think. But I just don't see him that way. Hard to see someone that way when they used to sneak over from next door and put frogs in your bed. Yuck! One day, our show choir teacher, Miss Conrad, had big news for us.
We've been asked to compete at this year's National Show Choir Competition.
All right!
Yeah!
But to ensure we get top scores, the soloists will have to be chosen very carefully. Miss Conrad told us that we were going to have to audition for the big solo right in front of each other in 1 week. My nemesis, Heidi, started bragging in front of the whole group. We all know who's going to get it. Me, of course. Everyone knows I have the stage presence of a star.
I don't know. I think Kaylee might give you a run for your money. She's got star power and the voice to match.
The others' eyes widened. Were they about to fight? Just then, the bell rang. As everyone left the class, I swatted Addison on the arm. Don't start fights with Heidi. She's my biggest competition.
That's exactly why you have to stand up for yourself in front of her.
I just don't want anyone to think I think I'm better than her.
Well then, I guess that's why I'm here. To remind them for you.
What would I do without you?
Good thing we'll never have to find out.
I was so nervous, even though I'd sung in front of our choir before, but the pressure was on. The whole week leading up to auditions, I practiced. In the shower, in the car, between classes. I really wanted to beat out Heidi for the big solo at the end of the show. Finally, audition day arrived. I woke up, put on my cutest outfit, curled my hair, and took extra time with my makeup. After all, if I'm gonna be a big star one day, I might as well start dressing like it now. When I stepped out of my house to walk to school with Addison, his cheeks turned super red. What's wrong?
Nothing. You, just look different is all. Your hair is…
Oh no, does it look bad? Maybe I should have worn it up. I'll just go change.
No, leave it. You look good. Great.
When I arrived in class, Heidi was sitting in the front row looking totally perfect. What was I thinking? With her shiny hair, big eyes, and as much as I hated to admit it, her beautiful voice, why would anyone ever look twice at me? But I just tried to remember what my grandma would always say. It's not about who sings the loudest or looks the prettiest. As long as your song comes from your heart, people can't help but listen. So I took a deep breath and sat down next to Heidi, right in the front row. She gave me a once-over and rolled her eyes. Who cared what she thought? I knew I looked great. Miss Conrad sat down at the piano and called Heidi up first. After she finished singing, I applauded politely along with everyone else. Then, it was my turn. I stood confidently and turned to face everyone. Addison gave me a thumbs up from the back row. Such a good friend. Miss Conrad played the opening notes for my song when suddenly, the door to the classroom burst open behind me. I turned to look, and standing in the doorway was the most handsome boy I'd ever seen. Tall, with long brown hair that fell perfectly into his eyes. He looked just like a fairy tale prince. My jaw dropped. He handed a note to Miss Conrad. "Class, this is our newest addition, Patrick." He waved to everyone, then put his hand on my shoulder, looked deep into my eyes and said, "I'm so sorry I interrupted your audition. Knock 'em dead." Then he took my seat right in the front row. I gulped. Oh, now I was nervous again. I shook off my nerves, took a deep breath, and nodded to Miss Conrad. As she played, I could feel the music filling me up all the way to the top. I opened my mouth to sing and let my song come from my heart. When I finished, the whole class burst into applause. I felt like I was walking on air. Patrick got up to sing something last minute. He was so good. The next day, Miss Conrad put up the list, and I had gotten the solo. And she'd even added a duet in the middle of the show for Patrick to sing with me.
Looks like it's you and me, Kaylee. I'm so honored to be singing with someone as talented as you.
I felt my cheeks turn red, and he grinned.
You're so cute when you blush like that. Be careful, or I might just fall in love.
He walked away with a wink at me. I couldn't believe he'd just said that, and neither could Heidi, who'd been listening around the corner. Don't get too comfy with that solo. Once Miss Conrad figures out that you'll cave at the first sign of pressure, I'll be ready to step in. Eavesdrop much? Jealousy isn't your color, Heidi. The next day, we started rehearsing for nationals. Everyone was working so hard, and Patrick and I sounded great together. But when it came to our dance, it was like I'd suddenly grown a second left foot. No, Kaylee, no. Once more from the top. Miss Conrad, I'm happy to come up front and show Kaylee how it's done.
Not necessary, but thank you, Heidi.
Just here for the team. After I knocked Patrick over by mistake for the third time, Miss Conrad called it a day.
Kaylee, please go home and
Practice. Ugh, I could have wiped that smug look off of Heidi's face. Everyone went to start packing up their bags, and I started to head backstage to get my bag when Patrick came up to me.
Hey, gorgeous. Want to stay and practice a little with me? Then it'll be perfect by tomorrow.
Oh, I wouldn't want to impose. Your toes must be all bruised.
That's okay. I really don't mind. And I wouldn't mind spending a little quality time with my co-star.
Well, if you insist. Just then, Addison came up to us.
Hey, Kaylee, ready to go?
That's okay. I should really practice a little longer.
I can practice with you. I could use a few run-throughs myself.
Oh, well, Patrick already offered to stay behind and practice with me here.
He did he? How are you gonna get home? I can drive her. Oh, do you live in our neighborhood? No, but, I mean, if it's not really convenient for you. I'm not spending time with Kaylee because it's convenient. Neither am I. I'm spending time with her because she's cool.
My face turned bright red. Did he really mean that? Addison, I'm gonna stay here too, just for a bit to practice. I'll see you later, okay?
Fine, if you insist. I'll, see you when you get home.
He turned on his heel and walked out. Patrick turned to me with a grin on his face and held out his hand.
Shall we?
We practiced more and I was finally getting good. Patrick swung me out for our final spin, then pulled me in close and dipped me. That's when I noticed his face was just so close. His ice blue eyes staring deep into mine. Was he gonna kiss me? Just then, all the lights in the theater went out. Patrick dropped me in shock, and I shrieked. All of a sudden, the lights came back on, and Miss Conrad stepped back on stage.
Oh, hey kids. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize you were still here.
Ugh, I couldn't believe she'd interrupted our moment. Still, we waved goodbye to her and headed out. A little while later, when Patrick dropped me off, he got out of his car to open my door. Such a gentleman.
It was nice hanging out tonight. I'll see you tomorrow, superstar.
Then he wrapped his arms around me and gave me a big hug. Is this what heaven smelled like? Then I headed up the front walk to my door.
So do you like him or something?
I whipped around and saw Addison waiting on our front porch swing. I don't know, maybe. He's so cute and really talented.
Okay. Cool, I guess. Do you still want to practice?
That's okay, I think I got it now.
Okay then. Well, then I guess I'll see you tomorrow. Here, I got you a milkshake.
Hey, thanks. He started crossing the yard towards his house. Is it?
Cookies and cream, your favorite.
Thanks. I'll see you tomorrow?
You know it.
Then it was finally time for nationals. As we arrived at the concert hall, I was overwhelmed by all the other groups here and overheard one girl say to another, "She was a little flat at the end." I couldn't believe it. What if I lost us the whole competition? All night and throughout all our warm-ups the next day, it was all I could think about. If I messed up again, I'd be letting everyone down, including myself. And there were several famous music industry people judging the competition. What if I ended my career as a singer before it even started? And then, it was almost time to go up. I tried to calm down, but I was shaking like a leaf. "Miss Conrad, Kaylee doesn't look so good." Miss Conrad came over. She looked pretty nervous herself.
Kaylee, you look terrible. Are you going to be able to perform?
"Of course,
Because if you're sick, I can always put Heidi on."
I'm ready to go, Miss Conrad." Just then, I spotted Patrick warming up down the hall. "I just need a minute." I raced down the hall towards him. He was stretching, shaking out his hands, jumping up and down. "Patrick?" His expression was so strange. Was he nervous too? "I'm so nervous. Do you think we could practice?"
Kaylee, I'm kind of busy.
"What if we—"
I really just need some space here, Kaylee.
"Yesterday, you said we were a team. That doesn't feel like a team to me."
I can't do this right now. Could you leave me alone?
Fighting back tears, I ran down the hall and found a corner backstage. I couldn't let anyone see me so upset, especially not Miss Conrad or Heidi. What was I gonna do? Suddenly, Addison stepped out of the shadows. He looked so handsome in his costume.
Kaylee, are you okay?
I threw my arms around him. He caught me and squeezed tight. "I'm so nervous. I overheard one of the other teams say I sounded bad. Miss Conrad is ready to replace me with Heidi. Patrick isn't any help, and there's amazing industry people out there, and ugh."
You sounded amazing in rehearsal. Those other teams were just jealous. Forget about Patrick and Heidi. Remember why you love to sing. What was it your grandma always said?
"Sing from your heart?"
Exactly. Just do that.
I took a few deep breaths, and Addison was right. "Will you just run the last part of the number with me?"
Of course.
And there, in our little corner of the theater, we stepped, we twirled, we kicked in time together. Addison took my hand, spun me around, and dipped me low. I felt his arm slip. He was dropping me, but right before I was sure I'd hit the ground, he caught me with a twinkle in his eye. I swatted his arm. "You tricked me."
I'd never drop you. And even if I did, I'll always be here to catch you.
"Thank you, Addison." Then he smiled at me so genuinely, and my heart fell into my stomach. What was that? "Places, please, students, places." "Kaylee, are you ready?" "Yes, Miss Conrad." As we all rushed to take our spots to start our number, Addison shot me a wink.
Knock 'em dead, superstar.
"You too." As soon as the lights came up on stage, I felt a little thrill of excitement. We danced, we sang, we twirled. Everyone had brought their A-game. When it came time for my duet with Patrick, we totally nailed it. But any spark that had been there was gone. As the opening chords of my solo began, the lights shined down on me, and I opened my mouth, and the music poured from my heart. I knew my grandma was right there with me. I hit my final note and held it out forever as everyone finished their steps behind me. As we struck our final pose, the crowd erupted into applause, a standing ovation. I beamed. We totally nailed it! That night, after all the points had been tallied, all the teams gathered on stage behind the judges. Addison reached for my hand and I squeezed back. "Thanks for the pep talk. I could have never done it without you."
Of course you could have. I'm just here to remind you.
"You're always there for me." He leaned in close, and I felt a flutter in my stomach as he whispered in my ear.
"And I always will be, if you let me."
I turned to look directly in his eyes.
Kaylee, I have to tell you.
Just then, the announcer started announcing the winners. Second place, runner-up. Our whole team clasped hands and took a deep breath together.
"And the grand prize for this year's National Show Choir Competition goes to..."
As they said our name, the crowd roared. It was so loud I could hardly think. Confetti rained down on us as Miss Conrad stepped forward to accept our trophy. I threw my arms around Addison and he picked me up, swinging me in a circle. "We did it! We did it!" As we packed up our things in the dressing room and said goodbye to the new friends we'd made at the competition, one of the judges knocked on our dressing room door. He was an exec for a record label back in LA.
"I was so impressed with you. Your vocals were so clear, and you've got some real presence up there. Give me a call if you think you'd be interested in recording a single.
He handed me his card, and I shook his hand, totally awestruck. Maybe dreams really do come true. I felt so relieved. Not only had I not let everyone down, but I'd made myself proud. On the bus, Addison dropped down in the seat beside me, running a hand through his hair. When he saw me watching him, he grinned, and the butterflies were back.
I'm totally beat, aren't you?
Definitely. I, got you something.
Oh yeah?
I pulled out a bag of gummy worms. Your favorite.
You're the best, Kay.
He ripped open the bag and dug in. Hey, Addison, what was it you were gonna tell me earlier?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Well, I have something I want to tell you.
Yeah?
I like you.
Really?
Really.
I like you too. I have for a while now.
Really?
Really.
He took my hand, and I know my cheeks turned pink.
I got something for you too.
Ooh, okay. I love presents. And then he put his hand on my cheek, leaned in close, and kissed me. It was the perfect end to a perfect day.
I'm from Miami. Please like and subscribe. I remember being 5 years old and Mom and Dad throwing me the biggest party ever. We were all so happy until Dad got a phone call and his smile changed and stayed that way for a very long time. The company Dad worked for caught fire. From there onwards, our entire lives started going downhill, and sometimes I felt he blamed me. Once when I was 10 and we took a walk through the park, I saw the ice cream truck and ran to it. And Dad immediately pulled me back and said the most hurtful thing ever. You know I don't have enough for ice cream, so please ask before you just run to things. We're already in enough debt because of that stupid birthday party we had for you. I stood looking at him with tears in my eyes, and he didn't even care. Then suddenly, this girl tapped me on my shoulder. You can have some of my ice cream. She had the prettiest smile. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. She introduced herself as Lisa, and she was new in town. We immediately became best friends, but little did I know that Lisa had a crazy side to her. Once when we were in 5th grade, she stole the answer papers for a big test, and because she was my best friend, the principal called me in for questioning as well. I was so mad at her. Lisa, what you did was wrong. Now everybody thinks I'm a bad kid. I'm so sorry, Taylor. It's just that I really struggle with studying. Please forgive me. Fine, I'll still be your friend on one condition. We study together. We used to study at my house all the time. And then when I was in 7th grade, I asked to see her house for a change. Lisa tried coming up with so many excuses, but I found it strange that she knew everything about my life, but I knew nothing about her life. So, when we were in the 8th grade, I insisted that we study at her house. Her house was average size like mine, but her mom was a monster. When I entered her house, I saw her mom and she was ugly. I couldn't believe she gave birth to a pretty girl like Lisa. No shoes allowed inside the house. Lisa immediately ran down and fetched me, and we ran back up and shut the door. Her room was so neat, like nothing was out of place. I'm sorry about my mom. She's a bit of a neat freak. I stay in my room most of the time to stay out of everybody's way. I felt so sorry for Lisa. No wonder she's always getting into trouble. Her home is so scary to live in. After that day, I told her she could come to my house whenever she felt like it. But little did I know, that was a mistake. This one time when I was in 10th grade, I entered my house with Lisa and my parents were having an argument. What are we gonna do? The bank gives us less than a month to pay or else we have to move out? Where will we go? I don't know. We could ask your brother for help. I couldn't handle this, so I ran out of the house with Lisa behind me. Taylor, wait! My mind and heart were racing as I ran through a nearby forest. I froze and Lisa bumped into my back. Shh, we have to hide. There was a boy digging a hole in the ground, so I quickly pulled Lisa and hid behind a big oak tree. What's going on? I don't know. Looks like he's digging a hole. The boy had a hoodie on, so we couldn't see his face. And then we saw him place a big bag in the hole. Lisa kept bumping her head into mine to take a closer look, and then stepped onto a stick, which made the boy look our way. We both held hands tightly with our hearts racing, hoping he didn't see us. He didn't because after a couple of seconds, he left. Okay, we can go now. Let's go see what he put in the hole. Lisa, no. What if he comes back? She didn't hear a word I said and went skipping to the spot where the suitcase was buried and then started digging with her hands. This is none of our business. I think we should go. What if we find a body in the suitcase? We could be heroes and on the news. How can a body fit in such a small bag? Lisa had such a wild imagination. I wish I had her courage sometimes, but this time, she was out of hand. Eventually, she got to the bag, and when she opened it, our mouths dropped. The bag was filled with money. Oh my God, we are rich. No, we have to put it back. Are you crazy? You need this money. You hurt your parents. If you don't pay the bank, you and your parents won't have a house. All that money was so tempting after what she reminded me about, but my conscience would haunt me day and night. It's still wrong to take someone's money. Put it back. When I tried to take the bag out of Lisa's hand, she tugged back, refusing to do the right thing. And while we were at it, the boy with the hoodie appeared and stood in front of us. We both screamed and ran for our lives as Lisa still held on to the bag. What are you doing? Just throw the bag down. Are you crazy? This is ours now. The boy was right behind us, and Lisa suddenly picked up a rock and aimed it at the boy's foot, making him trip. I felt so bad for him, and yet still continued running away. When we got to my house, I shut the door of my room, and Lisa placed the bag on my bed, smiling widely. It's time to celebrate, girl! What? I'm flippin' freaking out here! You took the boy's money and then hurt the poor boy. Well, that'll teach him to never hide his money in a hole again. We have to take it back. Lisa ignored me and started taking some money out of the bag and then took the rest with her. I took my half and you have yours. Now go to the bank and help your parents out. Before I could refuse, she left, and I was left standing gazing at a pile of money on my bed. I did not sleep well that night, and when I went down to get a glass of milk, I found Dad in the kitchen with his head down on the table. It looked like he was crying. Dad, are you okay? No, Taylor, I'm not okay, but you need to go to bed. My heart sank when I saw the agony on his face, so I ran back to my room, grabbed a stack of cash, and left it on the table in front of him. There, now you can pay the mortgage. Taylor, where did you get all this money from? Please don't be mad. I sat down and told Dad the whole story, and instead of taking the money, he looked upset. Tomorrow, we will go back to the woods, find that boy, and give him back his money. This is not how we do things, Taylor. But Dad, it wasn't me. Dad wouldn't hear me out, but when I got up in the morning, Dad was gone. When I told Lisa what happened, she started freaking out. What is up with you and your family? I hope this doesn't get me into any trouble because I already spent some of the money. As you can see, I'm all Gucci covered. He's not gonna get you into trouble, but he's right. We should give… While I was explaining to Lisa, her eyes widened, and when I looked behind me, the boy with the hoodie was in our school. How did you get through the gates? I go to this school. Now give me back what you stole. We don't know what you're talking about, and we've never seen you before in our life. If you don't give me back that bag, I'm gonna make your lives a living nightmare. Lisa pushed past him, and I walked nervously behind her. She didn't feel an ounce of guilt, but all that changed when we went out for recess and found both our lockers on fire. Oh my God, Lisa, we have to give back that boy's money. No way, I'm telling the principal. There should be a CCTV camera for this. The school tried looking at the cameras, but it was all blank. And as we walked home after school, the boy stood in front of us looking like a freaking creep from a horror movie. Don't be scared of him, Taylor. He's just a kid. Why don't we just give him back the money and then he'll leave us alone? You should listen to your friend. But instead, she pushed him and he flung out a bottle of skunk juice and threw it all over her. She screamed and ran home crying. I'll get you your money back. Just give me some time. Fine, but if I don't have it by tomorrow morning, you don't want to know what's next. When I got home, I found Mom and Dad smiling and looking cheerful. Hey, Taylor, you saved us from losing the house. What are you talking about? Well, I know I gave you a lecture last night, but after you went to bed, I spoke to your mom and she suggested that we pay off our debts and then save up again to pay back the boy in the forest. No, you don't understand. The boy is in my school, and Lisa and I have to pay him back. My parents came with me to school the next day to speak to the boy, but he never came to school. We tried the next day as well, and he still wasn't around. So I took my parents to the forest, and we walked for miles, looking for a cabin or a house, but there was nothing. It was like this boy just vanished. Lisa was over the moon, and soon after, when we were in 11th grade, she started acting very strange towards me. Like this one time, while she was standing in line at the cafeteria and I approached her from behind, she just shrieked. Gosh, Taylor, you don't need to frighten people like that. It's really not funny. Calm down, Lisa. What's gotten into you? Just wait for me at the table. I felt a little taken aback, but I did as she said. And while we were eating lunch, she kept looking behind her. Are you gonna tell me what's wrong? Listen, I think I'm just gonna sit at the library during my lunch from now on. Okay, I don't mind the library. No, I want to be there by myself. After that, she just got up and left. And when I tried reaching out to her again after school, she just pushed me so hard that I injured my arm. And she didn't even care. I told you to stay away from me. Have you lost your mind or something? My arm is injured. Well, go tell that to someone who cares. Lisa's actions made no sense. I wanted to be angry with her, but we had such a deep history. It was really hard for me to just leave her like that. I managed to get a Band-Aid for my arm, and then I decided to pay Lisa a visit. No matter what was said, I needed to know what was going on. When I got to her house, I was surprised to see her sitting with some boy in her yard, so I hid behind the wall to figure out what was actually going on. Whatever they were talking about made Lisa cry, and then I decided to bravely face them. Hi, Lisa. What's going on? Taylor, I told you to stay away from me. You know I can't do that. You're my best friend. Who's this? The guy she was with turned to me and smiled wickedly. Hi, Taylor. I am Jerry. You're that guy from the forest. I tried looking for you. Yeah, right. Because of you and your friend, my dad fell into a coma because I didn't have the money to pay the doctors. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. Well, sorry doesn't fix the mess. Are you back for revenge now? Lisa, what did he say to you? Is this the reason you've been pushing me away? I was trying to protect you. He threatened to hurt you if I didn't help him with stealing and shoplifting. I told him we weren't friends anymore, and I had to act like it in case he was watching us. Jerry suddenly grabbed me and Lisa started screaming. Take me instead, please, leave her alone. I'm the one who insisted on taking the money, please. Too late. Now, you will never see your friend again. You better not follow us or tell anyone. I tried to kick him, but he was too strong. He took me to a part of the forest I'd never been to before, and into a neatly built house. If you let me go, I'll try and get back all your money. You're funny. Do you know how many years my father worked to make all that? But then why didn't he just put it in a bank? Because we don't trust banks, and we don't trust people, because they lie and steal like you and your friend did. So, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna keep you here, and then ask for a ransom. But my parents are not millionaires. Yeah, but they're richer than your loser friend's parents. And no problem if they're not. They'll just have to sell the house they paid for with my money. Then he started pacing up and down like a mad person. My eyes fell on a long vase. I took a bold step, grabbed the vase and knocked him down, and then I ran as fast as I could. But then he was right behind me. When he eventually caught up to me, I screamed my lungs out, and Lisa came running with the police. My parents hugged me tight and Dad apologized for everything. Jerry was arrested, and when Lisa and I watched the news later that evening, we found out that Jerry's father was a criminal who robbed banks and the police were looking for a very long time. So he lied to us? His father was not in a coma. It was their plan to get more money. Well, at least they're in prison where they belong. And no more secrets and no more stupidity. Can you do that? Yes for secrets, no for stupidity. Yeah, she might do crazy things, but she always has my back. One good friend is always better than 1,000.